Welcome back to the Elite Series. It is week 5. We have got the matchup between Method and Reason. The picks have been decided. We'll soon get that in visual for you. The teams are sort of going to get to pick those out. These are the teams that have lined up. They look menacing. There's a few extra smiles on that Reason team, but hopefully they'll get that win. They don't look a cheerful team, Method, maybe from. But
they're not generally. The characters you have within that team, like Nils Jr., like we said, can be known to be a bit of a hot-headed individual. Same with Weber as well. So I don't think it's the happiest team of all time, but still skilled and hopefully can step up today. I sound like a bit of a fan, but just because I used to play with all these guys when I was playing like 5-6 years ago, and I'm hoping we can see them kind of step up and show us their experience and their pedigree today.
Of course. So what map do you reckon that Method will be looking for in this?
Like before, we were saying like we've got like mercenaries coming in for previous teams we analysed today, but right now we've actually got proper teams standing up, so they might be experimenting a bit more with some of the more exotic maps. Well, I know it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but we might see the likes of Mirage come out and something like a Nuke. We did see Train earlier, maybe a Cobblestone as well. I'm not expecting just to see the classic Inferno and maybe Cash. I want to see something a little bit more strategic, perhaps.
Okay, well, let's have a look at those picks and what went down during the vetoing. Got Nilzino on the left.
Oh, don't drop the coin.
Don't drop the coin. Happens.
That is the rule.
Solid work, though.
Yeah, he's recovered it well.
It's difficult tossing a coin, isn't it?
Well, we've all been there.
Coin, you said, yeah? Depends how late it is, really. You know.
We're going to buy more boats.
Have your porridge.
Overpass.
So we won't be seeing anything exotic so far.
No.
I think it's a possibility we could see a Cobblestone, though. That's something I would like to watch. You know, we haven't really seen much of that so far. Actually, Reason takes out Cash.
What makes sense? I guess Method, probably on paper, got more skill and firepower available to them. Want to get rid of Cash, perhaps. Inferno goes. That's interesting for me.
Possibility of Cobblestone here, Henry.
It's coming. I reckon it will.
2 out of 3 chance. There we go. Cobblestone.
Mirage as well. Yes.
There we are.
There we go.
I look the look of the players. They seem pretty happy about that. I think maybe that was just a comfortable seat they got to sit down on for a second.
I think that was an example of one where the 2 teams know each other. They know what they're going to play. I think even when they were talking back in the players' room, I think they just agreed, like, we're going to play this, we're going to play this, you know. You have 2 vetoes anyway, so I think this is fairly set as to who's going to play what. And with these 2 teams and where they are in the standings, it should really be a game of how well you perform on the map, not if the map particularly, favours you over the other team.
Yeah, so because Method have got Cobble, Cobble's going to be our first map. We haven't seen it so far today in week 5. What are the things to look out for in Cobble?
Cobblestone is a bit of a difficult one on the CT side especially. Like, obviously, a lot of teams like to focus towards the B side and the T side. Holding that off and working out whether you want to have the AWP set up over there, rotating him around. It comes down to the crossfires, generally speaking, and a lot of top teams struggle with that concept on the CT side. Whether these guys can step up today and show us whether they're capable of holding off B rushes, for example, full executions, yet to be seen, but that's one of the most difficult parts of the map, holding off those B executions. You'll see a lot of those coming in. A lot of UK teams do rely on set smokes and set pieces across the board, so that's where the key interactions, I think, will be going down on that B-bomb site.
Okay, and get your prediction, Thorin. Where are you seeing this one live?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting one because I really do think this one can go both ways. I'm going to go ahead and say Method will finally cobble together a victory.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
That's why he's the best.
That is solid as stone.
I'm going to go Method as well.
You're going to go for?
Method as well.
Okay, 2 predictions, 2 methods there. Right, one of these teams could move up a place from the bottom 2 if they get this win. I'm going to throw over now to our casters, Pansy and Tom Beers. Are you saying Method as well for this one? Where does your heart lie? I need to know where your heart lies.
It should be Method, but I have been drastically let down by this before. So I think the rose-tinted glasses that Henry's been looking through at, the old boys that might have some hope they're going to be shattered pretty soon. Okay. It's not always a lovely display, but they should do well. They should.
The thing is, there's a bit of rivalry actually over on that desk, I know, because Tom was telling me earlier, Tom on the desk, he said there's only room for 1 Tom in this bit.
That is true,
wow,
I heard.
Wow, that is big talk. Biz, is that true?
Oh, of course.
Okay, that's fair enough. We'll fight to the death after this. But how are you seeing this one go?
I'm going to go the opposite. I think Reason could take this. They look really good on Cobble. Last time we saw them versus Epsilon. And I think if they play the same way, I think they could take this series 2-0.
Well, enjoy a Cobblestone map and have a great one.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one, right? Neither of these teams have had a clean win yet. We've had, 2 draws, 2 losses for Method. Not great. 1 draw, 3 losses for Reason. But then again, Reason, they haven't had their 5th. They haven't had, Thomas is the additional. And he brings a lot of firepower. The guy actually has a lot of impact. So it's a bit of a shame we've seen them without him. And Method, their season so far has been atrocious. Considering they were tipped, you looked at that roster, you thought, there's potential. There's a lot there. There's all the classic names. They should have it down. They should have the basics down and then build up on it. we've seen some really dreary performances. So if there's any moment you feel pressure, if your method is you've got to beat Reason, simple as that. You're in a situation where you need a victory under your belt, a clear 2-0 ideally, and you're against a team that you should be beating. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys here.
Yeah, the other thing to mention is if you look at the teams they've already played, this is where things should get easier, if anything. Like Reason, I would say, have played the 3 toughest teams in the tournament, or without a doubt, the 3 toughest teams. 2 of them have already been played by Method as well. So it's not like they should have an easier road from here on out. The problem is they have to win now. It's not really like, okay, a 1-1 will do, where either of these teams can sort of go, yeah, no, at least we got a point. It doesn't really matter. They're both right at the bottom of the board. So here it is. It's sort of win it or you're probably done already.
Yeah, I've got to say, Weber's got a lovely look to his name there. Just nice and edgy. Looks like a MySpace profile. Good stuff, Weber. But Pulse and the Reason boys up on the T side. CT side, of course, going to be Reason. And it's Cinder to go have a little look here. Could get swung on by Pulse if he's not too careful. He gets baited in by Niels, but so far, Method taking their time. You can already see Yenko working his way back over towards B. Just kind of through the halls, taking his time. No real rush here at this point.
Yeah, just straight out patience at the moment. No real information gained from either side. Cinder is probably going to be the first point of contact, although there is a little bit of pressure coming in towards drop. Cray is going to be waiting there at the moment. It was Cinder who was playing drop a lot in the game that they actually won versus Epsilon, so maybe it's just for the pistol. We'll just have to wait and see. Thomas is going to be falling back already, looking to try and take the initial shots. Grabs a couple as well, and he's just taken 3 out of this round already. The 2 remaining players have to try and retrieve that bomb. Neil eventually gets himself the kill, and actually doing quite a bit of damage in the meantime. However, it's all onto him. Versus 3, actually takes the first. Has to be careful though. Cray looking to try and sneak in from behind. Doesn't have much health, so has to find this kill quickly. And somehow he's just surviving on 4 HP at the moment. However, he still has 66 of his own.
This pistol is vile to watch. Needs 1 shot on Cray, and the same can be said back to him. But let's be honest here, Thomas just came back in with an absolute headline performance, just locking out 3. That's pretty sick, considering it was easily able now, from this point onwards, they should have been easily able to, should I say, lock down the platform play, then isolate the last 2 players. Well done to that. You know, that's one way to get your confidence back in as well, let's be honest. He's been away for a couple of weeks, obviously been playing the pugs when he's back home and, you know, starting to warm into it and practicing a bit. But it's always good when you come into that official, you just get yourself going straight away.
We got an XM.
Cinder, he's gone for it.
My favorite gun.
It's your favorite, is it?
Yeah. It's so bad that it's good. That's how it works. And it makes you a nice amount of money as well. So we'll see if he gets anything done, although I don't think he's going to be in the position to do too much here, as they've already taken a lot of position over towards long A. A little bit of a hold by Neil, just watching for any rotations, making sure people can't come in from behind. But already 3 players actually dedicated over towards this A site from the CTs. That's
a decent read. They weren't particularly quiet, so I can imagine steps were heard. Anyway, once Pulse plays in that smoke and probably a flash to follow, I can imagine they'll burst out, maybe a little bit of a mini split through drop if Niels can make any sort of impact, or maybe just keep players present towards B. But that's not really the case. With 3 here, you're kind of starting to read the play very, very well. Karma going to put down smoke towards long. Pulse on the other side, and already Thomas is going to find them. Yeah, this is a bit of an awkward situation for Method. You're coming up against 3 players in exactly the right place. You're hoping for 1, at most 2, and you've not sold a single fake, and it's really not worked out. You've not made it past the first hurdle. And now you can see instantly. Good approach from Reason, fall back to the sites, not allow these free picks to come in. Use the rifles, and Thomas again finds another.
Yeah, just playing at range now. Neil doesn't stand a chance, and yeah, very strong start. Maybe that's it. Just go to Cuba for a little bit, come back, relaxed, and 7 kills in the first couple of rounds. Not bad at all.
Can't complain. And it must be nice, though, because everything you set up, right, everything you have as a team, you kind of learn it with that 5th. Even just changing 1 player can make a world of difference, and it just might be a couple of flashes, couple of smokes, you know, a couple of positions. Oh, that gets messed up. You know, the chain of events then just completely falls out. So maybe they just feel comfortable with him. We'll see if it actually matters down the line. This is the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's early days.
This is super early stuff. It's just nice to see him starting well. That's literally it. Beyond that, this round, not much to be seen in the form of investment, of course, from Method. Just a couple of upgraded pistols. Niels and Yenko going for that. Nothing too much beyond it. Not even a flash to set it up. So ideally, you're getting a gun away. You're just doing a little bit of something.
Yeah, or you're giving Cinder a load of money. Because they do look like they're going to set up over towards drop.
But there's no one else there with him. I'm kind of hoping someone else plays window side or just gets a little closer towards connector. Otherwise, you can get overwhelmed.
He doesn't need it. He's got this.
Yeah?
I believe. I don't believe very often. Definitely didn't believe earlier in our game when the comeback started to begin for Endpoint. But I believe in the XM. There's going to be 4 players coming in. Already a start. And he does get overwhelmed, but still made $1,800. Handed it over, though. Can we see an XM kill out for the T's? That'd be a nice little bonus in terms of cash, at least. Thomas is going to be waiting on that outside. Weber looking to try and find the kill with the XM. If he gets away with this, it really would be nice. However, in the meantime, we've seen the push come in over towards Platt. Another player lost. They, of course, don't have very much, so even just getting a couple would be nice, but only 1 allowed. And the CT side only lose an XM, so not too much of a problem.
No, really clean start for the CTs. Going to keep their money looking pretty decent going forward. Got to be happy enough with that. A lot of a discussion going through. You can see Method now needs to get into the game. This is you want to get them off to a good start. If you're a fan of Method, you feel they kind of need it after the season they've had so far. Just make this feel comfortable. You start getting maybe doubts in the back of your mind if you've come in after a rough pistol round, but all is well. Karma's going to get the AWP pretty quickly though, so he's up on that nice and swiftly. Full armor, full utility, perfectly well set. I'm kind of wanting CT aggression. I don't know if they're going to need to go to it just yet, but even just like the AWP and the rifle playing up on Platt, the deep smokes that come in, push a rifler up. Whatever it is, I love seeing that as a go-to. I don't know if they need to go to it yet. We're still seeing a bit of a default enough round from Reason. Same can be said to a degree for Method, having Niels just slowly working through 8. Just showing presence, keeping at least 1 player present towards the A site. You've still got, Hoodlum playing by the door as well, and the drop presence starts to build.
Already just a straight fallback. Abandonment of drop. A little bit of a switch up of position from Thomas as well, because he can't really play so aggressively, although he's actually going to go peeking towards drop itself. Again, it's a bit risky to just give up this sort of position, but...
And look at the utility that's left on the T side. They have 1 smoke and 2 flashes, and they don't have anyone... Well, okay, they have Stanley out, right? That's literally a lot. It's going to be hard to get past this. Wherever you go, you're going to be feeling a little uncomfortable. They've got to land some absolute blistering shots to get out on this site.
Yeah, Platt can be perfect for that, though. Thomas is going to be the man waiting. And actually, they are quite heavily invested into the A side, the 2 players there. So rotation isn't going to be... There's the 1 flashbang. Thomas gets the first, but he's very low on HP. Needs some support, but still gets a second, leaving them with a man advantage. Weber looking for the man in drop. Gets taken down by Hoodlum. It's all onto Neil once again. 1v3, just like the pistol, and nothing going to come of it. Shut down round from Reason. They'll start things off 4-0. And yeah, as you said, just no utility there. Didn't really have much to sort of play back in. And with Thomas getting away with 2, I just feel like the trade was a little bit too slow.
Yeah, bit of a shame. Maybe 1 more flash, a couple of chain flashes through there. You could have maybe isolated 1 and maybe went onto the site, maybe smoked off somewhere. But again, these buys, they're buying right down to the bone. So this time they just have 2 players with a touch of utilities. You've got Niels and Weber, and that's it. No nades, no mollies. Nothing fancy to work with. On the other side, you're going to see Reason start building their money up so nicely. They get a little bit of a fallback buffer. Start looking at that. Let's see if they do anything different here, Reason, if they feel like there's a different approach to be had. They're putting a lot of faith in Karma Pangia as well. Going to leave him over kind of towards A-Long. Not necessarily on his own. It's not like the 4-1. It's not. You're not seeing that completely. You still have Hoodlum close enough by, spotting middle. But he has no full information on danger. And that's a nice little start there. Yenko just walking out into it, no flash, no set piece, and there's a follow-up as well. This is a disaster for Method. They're just going in 1 by 1. They're allowing these picks to happen, and with no utility, no easy way to force them off the angles or pre-fire or anything, you're just walking into people holding angles.
Well, yeah, Karma's going to be very happy with that with the AWP. Just sit there, be patient, take a shot, rotate away. Just smart, but very simple. He doesn't actually have to do too much. Didn't have anybody even close by to trade. And from the T's now, they've got a 2-man disadvantage. There's already 3 players on this A site and 1 able to quickly rotate. Stanley will actually make it past the smoke. Gonna go pushing towards Hoodlum, but he still manages to get the first, leaving it into a 2 versus 4. The advantage clearly with the CT side at the moment. It only gets worse. Pulse now. There's so many players to find. Actually gets the first, but, well, Cray so quick to trade that the 5-0, almost simple.
3 alive in both gun rounds as well. Build up the funds, keep it going. And again, Method need to just take that moment and just take a second to get everything they need. Because otherwise you're going to be in these situations, losing out to those early picks. A little bit of a lighter investment, and I'm more than happy to see that. A couple of flashes, a touch, nothing too much. They're kind of leaving around 3K, so they should have that nice buy when they can finally afford it. but they're just not getting kills on the board. They're not getting enough beside them to actually warrant them getting into the game. Hopefully they can overwhelm here. Jenko going to take matters into his own hands and gets his head taken off, but Pulse at least pushes in, finds one, finds another. Thomas finally falls. We're going to see B under pressure. Through on Connector as well. Nice work from Hoodlum to keep that in mind. But the last two players have a bit of a threat to them, are going to work out towards Plat. That's Niels, there's going to be Weber, the classics, and Pulse is the one to save them.
Yeah, Pulse coming in through drop, and this is the best round we've seen so far from Method, and it's with those pistols. Pulse already getting himself 3 kills, has the AK-47 in hand. Hoodlum hoping that somebody will peek into the angle, has a Molotov to clear certain angles, but there's nobody there at the moment. It's still going to be that man in drop of Pulse with that AK-47 who's the one, but Hoodlum gets him and a second as well. Neil doesn't have any armor. Actually going to throw out a flash to try and catch him out, but he's just rotated away at the moment, gone all the way around the back. Very smart from Neil. Gives away his position, however, but the bomb is ticking pretty fast, and actually Hoodlum's just going to try and defuse this flat out. Neil missing all of the shots. He doesn't know he's still there. It doesn't get any worse now for Method. At least they built up some cash, but at the same time, Hoodlum 4 kills and a cheeky little defuse at the end.
And at that moment, Henry G's heart shatters. I say it like he has personal investment. He absolutely doesn't. It's just, oh man, those moments you hate to see it, don't you?
It was only a pistol round. I am a little bit confused with why they didn't invest a bit more. Because when you have max loss bonus 2,900 still left, you sort of think...
You've been completely battered by having no utility before. So, fine, just go for it for now. They got the best of that situation, to be fair. Being able to get it to that close point was actually impressive. Now this is where the game might begin for me. Now we see the utility takes. Now you see them isolating positions on long. Maybe it's going to be Jenko again working up there. It might be Niels this time. It is Niels. He's just soloing up towards A long. But it's nice. It's keeping them guessing. The CTs don't have that full read into it. You can see Cray already starting to float back through towards Connector. As again, they start to build towards drop. This is lovely from Method. This is the play I want to see. A little bit smarter, a little bit more switched on. And right now, Niels is selling an absolute brilliant bit of presence as they hide the sound of the drop as best they can. There's just 2 players will be locking this down, Thomas being one and Cinder the other. And Stanley looking for the first opportunity. They do have some step towards full drop control if they can get that E-box side and maybe a bit towards window playing to Connector. But so much pressure on these 2.
Yeah, this one hell of a gamble from the CT side. Based on the footsteps of one man, Thomas going to be peeking out, does win the first duel, and there's no option for a trade. So once again, they've started things strong, but they haven't spotted too much out. Thomas again, and he's going to drop the bomb over towards Plat. There's only 30 seconds left. This should be the rotation. Niels has got to try and hold some of those players back. And they still have to retrieve that bomb. And, well, Thomas is doing an absolutely perfect job, just wasting as much time as possible. Cray's going to win the duel as well. And now Weber, 15 seconds left. Not going to happen. What started off as such a strong position is stopped by Thomas and his M4.
Just frustrating, I can imagine. But I'm hoping there's a timeout coming in for Method soon just to get their heads in the right place, because they are getting absolutely broken down here. And Thomas's 1v2 is nice, but it was 2 individual 1v1s. He was able to get the first. Great aim, don't get me wrong. He's doing really well. But they're not flashing him out. They're not going to molly stairs. They're not going through the steps that I maybe feel they have to go to. Maybe Method had come in with a mentality they don't need to do it, and that is a huge error right now. They need to kind of slow things down, and I kind of want to see what's happening on the other side. If we could have a little look at Neil, see if he's looking calm or, well, he's not looking all that vocal, considering he's, in-game leader.
Yeah, considering this is attack. There we go. He said a word.
I'm trying to see who it is talking. Yeah, not much being said.
It's actually, it's Weber.
It is Weber having
Weber's having all of the voice of the team, but hopefully that means they're actually going to be sorting something out for the next round, because thus far it has just been, even when they have a huge advantage, just decimation. That Thomas sort of double kill there, if there's 2 players there, he doesn't get it. You'd have to hope.
Unless he's, you might see an AWPer do it there. You might see maybe able to do that, get away with that. You don't often see just a solo rifle, no support, no, he wasn't flashed in by anyone. He was, literally dry peeking.
It was quite aggressive peek as well. So.
Yep. Normally you get punished for that. Now, Method, you've got to come up with something. You're 0-7 down. This is when you start getting a bit tilted. You get a bit frustrated. You start, it all starts to begin. And I think that's the early smoke from Karma just to should land over by the box. There it is. That's actually really deep. I didn't know you could do one that deep. But Method going to pick up the pace here. It looks like they want to go for the faster hit. That almost worked out before in those pistol rounds. This could work well. Bearing in mind, Reason aren't used to having to use anything to stop them. There hasn't been that early pressure. Good work from Kraid to fall back and find one, but overwhelmed. They finally get the bomb site for Method. They should be able to get that down uncontested. Thomas escapes through the smoke. And this retake looks near on impossible. It's very hard when you've got so much utility, so many mollies, so much time to be bought. Nice approach from Method. Good switch up of timing. This should keep Reason humble for now.
Yeah, this is where really you want them to be keeping their weapons. Hoodlum actually going to go flashing through. The rest of his team have backed off, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Just decides to individually try and take a 1v4 as his teammates have already left. So maybe a little bit of confusion there at least. But Method, well, the great thing about that round is they speed things up and then just have all their utility to hold off every single angle. So pretty basic stuff, but sometimes going back to basics can work wonderfully, especially when you look at the sort of setups Reason have been doing. They've been holding back. They've been then taking peaks a little bit later on. And as you said, a lot of their utility hasn't been expended early, so punish them for it.
Yeah, no, it's a really nice approach. I don't mind it at all. It doesn't last. It's not something you can throw in every single round, obviously. That's when they'll start utilizing all the money they've built up from these pretty clean rounds until this point. So that's the next step for them. And I guess for Method now is, well, how do we go on from here? We can't just keep rushing place. We can't just, keep applying that pressure every day of the week. But there's opportunities. We saw how well Niels did at pulling players over. He kept 3 players present towards A while the rest of his team slowly worked their way towards the site. If they could maybe find a middle ground on that, it could be pretty nice to look at. But Reason, it's their chance to now find a way back in. Find what they need to do. Do they need to now expend early utility? Do they need to put a couple of flashes, couple of mollies down, just, stop that sort of hit coming into place? And, well, the answer is simply yes. You might need to start actually working through that rather than just going, well, they're going to take their time. We'll just sit there and just absolutely, destroy them. So hopefully they come up with a plan.
Yeah, we did actually see a little bit of a switch up as well from the CT side. They had the tree boost in. It didn't really get anything done, so it's not so much to look at. But I wonder if we'll see something now from the side of Reason. Obviously, this is technical, so I don't know what the rules are here, if they're allowed to talk or not. Normally the case is no. But just got some Thomas highlight reels. He really has started this game very, very strong indeed, which is worrying because he was one of the key factors. It was him and Cinder, who has been a little bit quiet so far. He did something with the XM and then had, well, as you saw there, just sort of trade frag. Pulse as well had a massive round other than this, which was a little bit unfortunate, but that ended up being Neil in that sort of 1 versus 1 scenario. And yeah, other than that one quick round, we haven't seen a lot. I think they could feel a little bit hard done by after that sort of defusal situation, which could have kickstarted them a little bit earlier on. But the important thing is they did actually take a tactical pause and they've gone, okay, let's slow things. Well, their tactic was to speed things up, but the idea of it was to slow things down, not give all the momentum over to Reason. And yeah, they've got themselves around. The question is now, can they do anything with it? Can they now start the half and get themselves maybe back to even like sort of an even scoreline or like 8-7? That would be the dream. Or can they at least make it respectable enough that they go onto their CT side and it's possible?
Well, true to trend, we know that UK CS seems to lack one of the 2 halves more often than not. T side seemed pretty solid. It's a CT side, but this is a good display. Again, if your Method, this was meant to be you coming into your stride. This was meant to be the easier section of games, but Tim's the man on the screen right there. Thomas has started to just chuck spanners into the works, make it a little bit more difficult. There's still a couple of technical problems just being worked down, but the one benefit, I guess, for Reason as well, all the rounds they've won so far have been pretty clean. I think minimum 3 alive in the vast majority of them, even the gun rounds. So their money's going to be sitting pretty solid overall. As you can see, the admin's just working away on some bits and pieces. I think the issue was with Reason at some point. And yeah, Niels is another factor I want to talk about. This guy, you need him to get fragging as well. In-game leader, sure. There's always a pinch of salt when you say it, that they need to get fragging if they're an in-game leader, but it was last week, I think, when we casted, I casted their game, and he dropped off so badly. 4 kills, something like that was all he got, and it's just simply not enough. So he needs to, find a bit of form for himself here. An incredibly talented player. He's been through this for a number of years. It's not like he's new to these stages, so we know he's there for it. Just need to see it actually delivered on stage. Hopefully that'll help out. But yeah, so far, good display from Reason.
Yeah, well, especially when talking about this team just in general, like even just looking at more recent, like local lands at least, they've been winning pretty much all of them. So the fact that they have come in here and started so slow is really worrying for them, because I think if you go into this sort of tournament and you look at who you're going to be thinking is the sort of UK team to push for that top 4, okay, you're still looking at the Team Envious Academy, who have, I still think, have impressed far more than anybody would have expected. The fact they haven't actually dropped a map so far is incredible.
Yeah.
But then you look at some of the other teams like, well, Epsilon, we were thinking they were going to be up there. Prophecy was a little bit of an unknown. Ooh, Cinder's going straight back to it. I like it. He's actually brought the XM into the buy round now.
How much money does he have? Can we just check that out real quick? Well, when we get a sec. Still, bit of a middle hit coming through. Hoodlum's going to see this. Needs to be a little careful. He can go overwhelmed. Good use of the molly, but already the punishment comes out. Stanley and Webb are going to be on to punish the CT side pretty swiftly. Thomas, though, good read, good position. Finds one. Looks for the push as well. Niels is going to be there, but the bomb's stuck in a bit of an awkward predicament. Can't get past Thomas. He's the man who will not be moved. And oh, you're only praying for Cray to hit that shot. Look how low these players are as well. Niels 8, Pulse 31. Spots out the first. That's Niels gone. It's down to a 1v1. Pulse playing on the site, using what he has. A flash goes through, but no, Cray's going to find the angle, but does he expect it? Ooh. And he can't adjust. It's Pulse there in the end to get on the board, and that was pretty sporadic. A little bit, you know, bit of mayhem thrown in there, but it worked out.
Yeah, taking the straight-up aim fight at the end when you have lower HP, the surprise factor, I guess, rather than waiting on the site to die. And now things get a little bit more interesting for the CT side. Looking like they're actually not going to buy into this one. Going to save their money and just go back in. And when you have a round buffer like they do at the moment, totally understandable. You sort of look at the T side economy and they're still yet to build up too much money themselves. So this is fine. I like the fact that they're not just going straight aggro into these rounds and trying to break them back as soon as possible, and more relying on their own CT side.
Hoodlum might be in a bit of an awkward situation soon enough. Got 4 players near him. He's just taking a gamble that no one's working up along, praying he hits something through the door. Just a deagle though. Still do a little bit of damage, do a little bit of work, get some guns away. Would be nice. Not unlikely at this point, but going to fall back. He's got a friend there now with him. He's got Cinder, I think, coming over as well. And we'll just see if Reason can get enough players to the right place to maybe do a little bit of work. But with everything that Method have left, there should be a clean run.
Yeah, I like the gamble rotation, though. Just spotting out a little bit over towards this A side, and they've just decided, okay, let's send 3, even a 4th player starting to rotate over, mainly because of what Cray can see at the moment. There's nothing there. It's down to 45 seconds, not a single push towards Plat. Can almost guarantee they're going to be hitting this A site, and some very good positions at the moment from the CT side. However, Jenko will be there to start things off. Will they expect the crossfire on the site, though? It's a little bit cheeky. Both players up close. The nades are going to be in to do some damage, but they're still here. Cinder manages to get one, can't do anything else. And now, well, the bomb should be planted comfortably with no CT players anywhere near.
That was really nice use of nades, just to clear out the corners then, not taking too much of a risk. They did, what, lose one player to that, but yeah, that's fine. 4 alive is lovely. If they can keep that, we'll be singing. Cray, trying to find something in the middle. Just going to look for some exits here. May have an opportunity soon enough. Weber's considering that route. Thomas still has armor as well. And the 5-7 kit to hand. Ooh, catches a glimpse of Niels. Going to work in on this as well. Pulse gets tagged, but there it is. Niels going to connect through the door. And now Cray hoping he can get a gun. Not looking so much like it will happen. Method not over pushing here. And Cray, well, there it is. Just runs in for it, why not? So, Method, good recovery, considering they were having, what, a bit of a beatdown. You know, it was pretty rough to watch at the start. It's very one-sided. They have recovered pretty well.
Yeah, no, they're in a decent position now with 4 players staying alive in that round. Important for their own economy. But that was just a setup. That was a waiting game for Reason to get themselves another buy. They have the AWP. Decent amount of utility as well, though there's a couple of pieces missing here and there. But the last few rounds, at least in buy rounds from Method, have been very quick plays. Catching out this CT side. They're going back to what looks like more of a default hold. Although Pulse is going to be trying to challenge onto Karma, who's been pretty good at getting these opening picks so far.
Should be flashed in. Might hear the step though. Depends what flash they do. Stanley Nothing flashy about it.
Oh.
Re-peeking that, risky as you like. They already had 2 players essentially watching the angle. Now, A-Long is theirs. They have to shuffle players over from Reason. Put Hoodlum up, over by the stables. You've got now Cinder playing through Connector. Kray's now uncomfortable playing Drop. He has to watch 2 sides of it. But look at Thomas, active in what he's doing over by Platt. I like that as well. Keep getting the information. Now, Weber's made it through towards Drop. We expect Kray in this position, but it's down to Hoodlum to buy the time. Now they know where the hit's coming in towards. If he can buy a little bit longer, that'd be perfect, but no, Jenko is there.
It's left onto Cinder on the site. Nobody else from his team is here, and they're still trying to deal with Weber in Drop. The Molotov, oh, has it missed? No, it hasn't. It will eventually force him out of position, and that's perfect from Neil. Leaves the site completely open, and Kray nowhere near the action, still trying to get rid of Weber, who he knows is behind him. And that's like, it just means that going anywhere near that A site now is completely pointless, because he knows that the second he even gets 1 kill, he'll be shot in the back of the head. He's just going to try and fall back, just consistently watching. For Weber is probably going to be able to get away with this, unless Weber actually peaks at the exact right time, but nice little jump up, spots him out, and there's no one else near him at all.
They do need to start finding an answer to this A hit. And now the problem is the momentum will swing to Method, where if you want to start countering A, well, what happens if they go for a B rush next round? They've got the money, they can go for something like that if they don't lose too many players here. Why not just try and switch something up, go for something a little bit, cheekier? But Reason starting to dwindle. Their money certainly not looking as phenomenal as it once did, down to about 3K, 3.5 around that. So could be going for a stack here, but it looks like Weber's incredibly vocal. We were told that Niels is in-game leading, but vast majority, it looks like Weber's having a good old chat.
Yeah, look, maybe he's taking the role. Things haven't been going very well, so why not? Why not switch it up? The Virtus Pro way, right? Things don't work. We get new in-game leader every time. Although Taz has told us in interviews he is the best, so. And I would never disagree with Taz.
No.
Hoodlum is pretty good with this Deagle. Haven't seen it as of yet. I think we saw it quite a bit versus Infused. Pulse. Just going to be peeking around, and Karma with the Zeus. Maybe a little bit of tilt coming in now, and actually gets another with the AK, so doing a decent amount of damage. They still have a rifle in play, but 3 quick kills in succession out from this T side. Leaves it on to just 2. Now Cinder's normally good for 1 with his CZ, and will be able to do that. Neil just round the corner. Will he run out of bullets? Yes, he will, and Neil gets a freebie kill. But now Kray, 1v2 again. He lost the last one, and this time Weber has a whole lot more health.
Nice position from Weber too. He can hold such a deep angle on this. I doubt Kray will peek at first. No, and there it is. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Weber is there, and Method are pretty much back in the game. It's quite simple, quite easy go-to hit. Take over A-Long. This was nice from Kamapanga, but it's a bit of a quirky round. It's not like you can sustain those things. It doesn't really make a big difference in the long run. But overall, the 3 to 4 players who end up hitting A has been working out so nicely for Method. We've seen Weber's kind of slowly playing through Drop, been a bit of a nuisance, being a bit of a lurker. And he normally swings round, once they kind of, I guess, put Jenko back over as well. They clear out the halls together, but they could switch this up. They could go for something different, but again, quite quick into the pace. But this time, Reason going to put 3 players here. So a difference already. Hoodlum going to find 1, but then falls. It's Thomas who's the danger man now.
Yeah, he's completely rotated. The problem is Jenko is now just feeling out over towards this B site. Kray actually going to win the battle, so that's going to stump any sort of push over towards this B site at the moment. Man advantage as well for the CT side, something they haven't had in a while, and it means that they can sort of split their defense, relying heavily on Kray on B, but he has support as well from Drop. Cinder yet to have that same sort of performance we saw in this Drop room previously. But now would be a pretty good time to start. It is actually going to be the push out onto Plat. They still have a minute to play with, so they don't actually have to dedicate themselves anywhere as of yet, although they have gathered up as a 3-man core to try and take B.
Kray, as much as Cinder is relatively close, he can't really play off him much. Now he's going to fall back, give up the site a little bit, but at least it's call for support. Spots out at least 1 then by the box, seen another cross, and it's Cinder to support eventually. Comes in through Drop, and he does what he needs. Neil's looking for the first man to show for him, but he's down to 35 seconds, and it's him and Stanley this time. No Weber beside him, so already Stanley looking for options. Kray's on the other side. First man to get past, and Niels needs to find something soon. They've got 20 seconds odd. They need to get towards the site. Boost comes in towards tree. I like it. Oh, Christ. No, I don't. I lied. Maybe they're going to hear this. Maybe not. Oh, Pangy goes down 10 seconds now. They need to look towards this bomb plant. There's no way they're going to get all the players. And how is he allowed to almost get away with that? And there it is. Done. Kray's had enough. Plays it well, but that could have gone pretty poorly, actually, in the end. Not shutting that down straight away was a little interesting.
Well, I have no... If Kray goes down there, I am almost certain the Method win that round. Like, it just the fact that he manages to get two... A little bit lucky he doesn't get sprayed down by the first person, but the second one, it's almost a straight-up dedication to getting that bomb down at that point.
Yep.
However, it's straight back on the buy for Method, so they still have a chance to actually make this a reasonable half.
Can we see how Jenko's doing so far? If we can have a little look at tab when you get a sec, Mr. Observer, that'd be lovely when the game takes a break for a second, because I think he's been pretty quiet. And he's one of the players I looked at to bring, quite a bit of fire for Method. He's not quite there at the moment, but Hoodlum's going to take the fight towards middle. A nice crossfire set up there. Thomas played in off the back as well. That's what you want to be seeing. That was the A hit that was hindering them so much.
Yeah, straight up aggression coming out. Will be caught out in the end from Hoodlum. He goes maybe a little bit too far. At the same time, they still have a two-man advantage. Neil just going to be waiting in an attempt to try and retrieve that bomb at least. 1 minute 10 on the clock, so they can just fall back from this. He has support from his teammate, making sure there's nobody in from behind. But from the CT perspective here, they can just fall back to the sites, have very passive holds. Kray right in that sort of back little crevice, just in case they do peek out. He should have a 1 kill for certain, and the second is more than likely. And then the rest of the players, they still have 2 all the way back over towards the A site itself. Neil's going to have to work some absolute magic with this AWP.
Oh, him and Weber have been pretty solid so far. Not going to get past Pena though. Lands it towards Weber and leaves Niels very much alone. 30 seconds and not much of a chance in hell at this one. And I think he knows it too. Might look for another option to have a quick crack at it. Otherwise, it's keep hold of the AWP and look towards the next round.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Not really much of a chance to get back into this one. The money for them is not great after just losing the previous round. And you are right, Genko 2 and 12 at the moment, so right down the bottom of that scoreboard.
A little surprising. I've seen the guy play, certainly very, very capable. Just not seeing it here right now. Otherwise, first one in a while that's gone cleanly on the board. For reason. Right players in the right place, good stack, finally dealt with that A pressure that was coming in so often. Now what's the response from Method? Back and forth we go. What do? Do they go back to the same A hit? Do they just feel, all right, we can just work on it better, get better trades, we'll be fine? Or do they try something different? Do they try and go for that quick B hit maybe? Looks like a bit of an A so far, but we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I definitely think in the slower rounds at least, it just leaves Reason to take the initiative, and that doesn't look like something they want to be doing. So speed it up straight through, and it's more of a gamble over towards this B side. There's only one man, it's Karma with the AWP, spots them out, takes a first, actually goes for the repeat, and once again he's taken down because of it. He needed to hold the line a little bit more. The rotation will be coming in, but look at the flank from Weber as well.
Great
utility.
He's well
positioned. He sat behind, makes his way out. They should know he's here. He's actually going to sneak in behind Kray. This should be a freebie kill, but he actually just waits, turns back around. That's a first. Looks to try and help his teammates, and there's only Hoodlum right below him. Although they haven't actually spotted him out, but now he shoots. That's it done. And Kray has to come back into a 1v3. Weber with a massive play in this round and eventually finished by Neil.
What are some of these rounds, Tom? What is going on this game? It's not so pretty affair. I think we got a little treated in our first game. We got a nice close one for the second, even though I guess you'd argue that Envy against Excel shouldn't have been as close as it looked. Train was actually pretty exciting. And then you come to this and you think, some of these rounds we're watching are just... I don't know how Weber gets away with that sort of thing. I really, really don't get it. But he does. He seems to manage it. He seems to make it work. See them discussing into that second half now. See what they can bring on that CT side. Something that we've seen escape a couple of the UK teams. Not quite as stable, get overrun. Rotates aren't quite there. Just little pieces missing. I'm hoping we see more from the bit of a duo of Niels and Weber starting to form.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the players you'd be expecting, like the more experienced of them, which maybe that plays to the fact they are on a stage at the moment, but that's just sort of clutching at straws, really, because you do expect definitely some of the players to step up alongside them. I think Genko with 2 kills is just not enough, because you look at the rest of the board, it's like, okay, it's not bad.
Fine, yeah.
Everybody else, and you have that one player that's just further behind at the moment. That's the difference. You've had Kray with a decent performance. Thomas in the early rounds was having huge amounts of impact. So Now we have to see somebody else step up. Either way, onto that CT side. Bit of utility for Hoodlum. Actually, every single player buying a decoy, so this may just be a cheeky little decoy strat. The best of strats always come with decoys involved. But they're still just going to go straight running out towards this B side. There's 3 players in drop, however, so Jenko, all he has to do is buy time for the rest of these players to rotate in. And already, he's going to be finding one, but eventually gets taken down. Got a lot of opportunities there. However, it may not matter. They still have a man advantage over on that CT side, and it will come down to just Cray. He's going to try and bait them in. Use the bomb plant. They know exactly where he is. Shouldn't have a chance here, but still manages to find himself one. Got to be careful, though, because there's a second player on the flank. Will he expect Weber? The chances are no. Now, he's got loads of time to play with. The problem is that may almost force him into a false sense of security that he could push in from behind. He's waiting patiently, hoping that Weber will be the one to make the mistake. Very unlikely that he knows he's here. At the same time, it's still possible that he's going to try and go rotating back over. Now, Neil should know there's no way that he could have gone back towards that A site, so it's pretty much just a game of cat and mouse.
No, Neil's just worried about drop. He could have slow walked in towards drop, and that's pretty much all he could have done. The problem is now Cray's going to feel that maybe B long's clear.
Yeah.
Going to plant opening for it. Weber could just walk to this as well. Cray has a chance for one shot, essentially, and he's not looking the right way for it. As soon as you get the attention towards door, you see the hit from Weber. Nicely played out. Good patience shown from Method. Something I expect of their caliber, something I expect these guys to be going through. This is one of the teams that everyone put a lot of weight towards at the start of this season, you know, looking at them to either top out the table to do well, but we are starting to see a little bit more from them. I'll give them that. They are starting to show us a little bit more of that competitive nature that we expect, but again, good start here more than anything. And I like the idea behind the decoys. It does cover up the steps a fair amount. Don't know how many people are in drop, or if anyone's dropped at all. It's very, very hard to hear, but still. Good beginnings for Method. Maybe chance to build into this and get a solid win.
Yeah, and again, it's the 2 experienced players at the end, just waiting patiently. Now, in this round, as clean as possible. That's the idea. They've got lots of UMPs, so they're going to try and farm up as much cash as they can. The T side have invested only into pistols, no armor behind it, because they want those AKs in the next round. And this is all about a little bit of damage getting a bomb plant. That would be ideal for Reason. Anything more, and, well, Method, you'd have to wonder if they've made mistakes.
Jenko not getting absolutely destroyed by Thomas, and thankfully Niels is there, and all the attention drawn towards door. He gets away with murder there, finding 2 for free, but Cray will finally punish, but it's just Cray left alive and no more to be seen. But Jenko is having one of those games where nothing hits, nothing works, and you just feel awful about it as well. You almost feel bad for him, but it is what it is. Clearly not into it. Niels there. Definitely pulling his weight. We didn't see much of that last week, and I think he's aware of it. Obviously, you notice yourself when you're not having good games, so good to see him just putting up numbers more than anything. And we got 3 kills for Yanko right now. So hard not to say Yanko. Jesus Christ. What can you do? But buy time to a degree, at least. Method, UMP's up. Famous as well for Pulse. 1 kill on towards Weber with the AWP. And look at this play from Reason. I forgot how slow their T-sides can be. When they go on the buys, they play incredibly slow games, but maybe that'll change here. Thomas, maybe the change-up being what he can bring, a little bit more of entry power coming through. Weber says no, at least the AWP going to ring true this time, and Cray's going to back instantly from that.
Yeah, important opening as well. Shut Thomas down early. We saw in the previous half when he got rolling, it was a scary thing over towards that B side. In fact, a lot of the time we then saw a switch up to more A-heavy executes from Method, just because, okay, let's just avoid him. Not a good idea to go anywhere near that. And the Ts are going to do somewhat similar after spotting that AWP. Try and take themselves some drop control. The bomb's still down towards that B side at the moment, but they can still look to split towards the A site, and that's where 2 of their players are currently waiting in the form of Hoodlum and Karma.
Slow walking around at the moment with that 1 smoke on Karma Panya. They can smoke outdoor and try and make the hit count, but they might need to go a little further ahead and just go ahead of the other 2 players, joining them from that B side of things, just because they're running quite low on time. And as much as Jenko hasn't been exactly doing much in the way of putting up numbers, he should be able to at least get information and trade on this, or do something. 20 seconds now, Reason are running out of time, and Jenko's going to find them in the most awkward moment possible for them. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and Cinder breakthrough, sure, but still, time to go 10 seconds. It's vital, and Jenko delivers when it matters. Cinder, he knows he's screwed in this. He gets 3, sure, but now with 5 seconds left, no chance of a bomb plant. Bear in mind, Stanley's a mile away.
Oh, look at where Weber is as well. Takes him down right at the end, or it's Stanley, sorry. So no money is going to be carried over. And that was a massive round from Yenko. UMP, I've just done it now, Jenko. A massive round there as he just manages to clean up 3 players, make himself some extra money. Now the T side again, they're going to be back to pistols. Cinder doesn't have a choice but to full eco here, only $900 in his bank account. And Method, they're looking like they're starting this CT side at least very strong.
Glad to see this from Method. As soon as you say that, of course, Jenko just gets dinked. Solid. It's like, well, I had a good round before. Welcome back to obscurity.
Got a rifle again, that's the problem.
That's it. You're right.
Yeah,
Give him the
those
UMP.
bullets.
Cray walking through, but I'm hoping we see more from Reason. This could be a good game. If they can actually step up on this T side as well, maybe we'll have something. But for now, it's Method putting on a bit of a class for us, showing that maybe those first couple of weeks were a little, uncomfortable, a little awkward. They had to play some very tough teams, bearing in mind.
And the first 7 rounds of this match.
They have been put through their paces.
But then you have to look at it on the other side and say, okay, now they've won, what, 9 of the last 11, so it's not going too bad for them at all. And in terms of momentum, that's massive, because this game has gone in streaks at the moment. It hasn't been just backwards and forwards rounds. Stanley, simple stuff, takes the head off of 3 and leaves just Cray left to try and sneak around. Does actually manage to take down Jenko. Of course it would be him and nobody else.
You just
Bad
hate
luck,
your own
Brian.
life,
That's
don't
what it
you?
is.
It's like, why? Why are you here, Cray? Why have you killed me? Why does Niels miss that shot? Please. There it is. Niels lands it in the end. He's perfectly fine. I feel like I'm flaming Neil a lot here, and I'm not. It's just like, after seeing him have a game with like 4 kills. It literally was just like last week. It was just such a bad performance. Like, oh no. And now he's doing all right. Now he's actually, pretty solid, considering if he's in-game leading in this, if he's doing what,
Probably
we've
been
been
the best
told.
player, or one of them at least, him and Weber.
The impact those two have been having has been pretty much outstanding, so nicely done.
Oh,
and
God.
do you know what? I didn't realise I was watching female CS, but Cinder plays for CLG Red at the moment.
And it's a M-Elite play.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's worse when it works though, because then you get the people who say like, oh no, but look, it worked.
But
like,
it's
that
viable.
doesn't mean anything. We'll see. He's actually playing more of the back line of his team as they all go pushing towards this A side at the moment. Rotations are quick, but Jenko, once again, he's going to have to do a lot in this situation. Luckily, the nades have actually slowed them down a bit, but in the meantime, we're just going to lose 2. Karma entries into the site. The remaining 3 players probably just going to hold on to their weapons. P90 going to be thrown away. Thank you very much.
But do you reckon Reason have gone, where's Jenko playing? Right.
Well, the
Let's
last
just hammer it out.
the last buy round, he got
He
3
was
kills,
good.
so, you know. Stop railing on all the players. Go on. Leave him alone.
How is he doing scoreboard-wise, actually? I haven't seen him in a while. So he did decide to get a couple
He's
of
on,
kills,
like,
didn't he?
7 or
So
8?
he's,
Oh, 6. So he's had 3
yeah?
that one round, pretty much.
'Cause the thing is, right, the reason, like, when Niels doesn't frag, it's not that surprising because he's meant to be doing more of a cerebral player, more of maybe a support role. He seems to be AWPing a fair amount, which obviously means you kind of want him to be putting up numbers. But outside of that, if you look at that lineup, Jenko should be one of the players who's at the top. He's one of the the firepower heavy guys. He certainly puts up a lot of the I guess the power behind the punch, right? He's meant to be one of those players, and we're seeing Thomas coming in and delivering a fair amount. At least to what I expected. I'm thoroughly impressed with him. And a man who goes a little unnoticed, I guess, is Pulse. He's been doing really, really well over for Method too. So again, we'll see how this one unfolds now. As we're at 10-10, both teams have decent money, double up on the CT side. Niels and Weber on that.
Yeah, very expensive buy though for the CT side. So this is going to mean that in terms of future economy, they may be in trouble if this goes the wrong way. And look at the gamble. They're pretty much just sending Niels playing a passive role, looking all the way down the A ramp. It's only for the early play, just in case some aggression came in over towards that B site.
But I love CT side aggression. This is what I was talking about at the start of the game. Get Rifler and AWPer doing this, just that nice deep smoke, push up your rifle a little, and then you can just leave Weber to this. Because they have to expend utility just to get out towards it now. They have to flash out, and it's awkward. You're already playing to an angle that you know he's holding. So it kind of forces you to play, all right, let's play for a bit of control to drop, but then again, you've already freed up that other rifler who can then either hold window or the electric box. It's just a nice way of playing it. I really like it, considering this map is so hard to get CT information on. So, there's the flashes used to force Weber back a little bit.
I think
Christ.
he volleyed himself off.
You just love to see it, don't you?
Oh, for 45 seconds, that's an extra few wasted. It would be great if they switch up their whole strategy just off of that. They're not going to. It is actually going to be the push towards this B site at the moment. The full team rotating over. They left a little bit of presence there to make some sound. But look at the late Molotov as well.
That's
just
really nice.
really holding on to a lot of utility towards the end of this one. However, they've still got 2 players gambled over the other side. Stanley missing the initial shots. Push going to be coming in. Weber at the back of the site. He misses as well. Losing quite a lot, but actually they're going to come out on top at least for a second until Thomas and Cinder combine. Leaving it on to just 2. Neil hits the shot through the wood. Down to 11 HP. Him and Pulse to try and save this one. They're the 2 top fraggers at the moment on their team. The afterplants have been taken. They don't have much utility. They don't have any utility, in fact, to actually get themselves back into this round. They need this quick kill, and somehow Cinder still gets another one. It's now left all onto Pulse. Has the AWP in hand, and he's just going to hold on to it.
Yep.
Another round for Reason. And again, it's a few missed shots that sort of throw away that one.
Well, you've got to feel when you saw how that kind of unfolded, right? Weber fell back towards Chicken Cooper. He put down a great molly. The board time with what? It was like 25 seconds left. Something around maybe 30. Yeah. And then the only guy who had the smoke was Karma Panga, who's pretty much the one on the way through the halls. And they finally able to get it done, or extinguish the molly. But by that point, you were down so low. So still to make that hit work is very impressive for Reason, because really, Method did well to that point to a smaller degree. But by here, you can see it kind of crumbling as the hit came in.
I don't know how he gets this kill.
No. No.
Just an aggressive peak when you have, what, under 20 HP? That's ridiculous.
But look what it's done to the money as well here for Method. Suffering that CT side money is always such a git to hold on towards. But they still have the AWP on Pulse. He's the one who kept it from the last round. So surprised he didn't drop it off to maybe Niels or Weber, but they haven't gone for armor. They've just gone for a little bit of a pistol upgrade.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred just Neo invests into the armor and then you see a pistol invest into Pulse instead, but each to their own. Doesn't want to give up the AWP, and we'll see if there is a reason behind it.
Would you like to say a method to the madness, maybe?
Yeah, no,
But
once you're told,
loves it, of course.
You're told you can't, like, basically you can't say it because you can't say the word reason.
Wait till you cast big. Everything.
I have.
Oh, that's a big round. Yeah, big kill there.
Here we go, though. Push into the B site. Thomas and Hoodlum. Quick entries. Leaving Weber with the Deeg, and he finds absolutely nothing. Pulse does manage one, but again, it sort of comes down to the point of it's probably more valuable to save that AWP than go pushing back into that site. A 12th round will come in for Reason. And Jenko's just going to look to try and get an exit. If he can grab an AK, he'll be a nice little boost to their economy. The T's already building up their own. Last round wasn't particularly clean.
Yeah.
But this one, 4 players alive, could be perfect.
It'd be a nice way back into the game for Reason. That certainly opens up that kind of avenue, doesn't it? Where maybe they could build into the next couple of rounds from. But yeah, Method, it feels like when things go right for Method, they go really right. Everything seems to click really nicely, get that nice CT aggression going. They get a lot of the kind of, I guess, deeper steps to Cobblestone, but then sometimes even just the most basic stuff, you see them kind of fumbling the lines a little. It's quite strange to see, but I guess, you know, it is about the basics here as well. You know, you want to get those basics right, and then you can, you know, build the blocks on top of it.
Oh.
And that's just cruelty, isn't it, Karmapanga? That's just mean. Oof, pause time. Surely a Method pause. Surely.
Yeah, I'd be very, very surprised unless...
Reason just letting them stew it like, how's that scoreline, boys?
Well, we weren't quite happy by the fact that we lost 2 players in that round, so we're going to take a tactical pause. No, but it is of course going to be a Method tactical pause. Have a little bit of a talk over what's been going wrong, and it worked last time.
Can we see Weber quickly, if possible? Because I want to see if he's the one talking again. It is a Method timeout. You can have a little look over to Weber on the Method side. That's Reason
Not
still.
Quite. There we go.
It is Weber talking. Now, I don't know if maybe this is a new change. Again, it could be something that's changed recently, because we were told that Niels has been generally the in-game leader for this, and that's not too surprising, you know, classically, that role. But maybe it's just between these two. Maybe that's it. They just have that discussion between them, and maybe they have that sort of impact. Like, if you talk about, I guess, phase previous to some of these changes, Nico used to give so much information to Kerrigan. So Kerrigan's still your in-game leader, but during a timeout, you'd see Nico just talking. There wasn't a negative, because obviously there was that, the Chris J clip when he was just telling them to shut up, essentially. But like those two would just bounce off each other, which is why it was so dangerous to have them in the team. You have Nico who can basically give the perfect information over to Kerrigan to utilize. So maybe they have a nice little kind of back and forth towards it. But 12-10, Reason, they're back in the game, but Method have shut the book on them before. That first half was incredibly well recovered. So don't forget Method did that. But again, they need to do it now. They need to get control of the economy build up. They need these rounds to be clean, and they can't get overwhelmed. But a quick hit is coming out from Reason. They want that B site, and they want it now.
Yeah, speeding up the pace, trying to catch off the idea of any tactics that Method could have thrown in. They're going to be held out of this site for now, at least. The smoke wall, absolutely perfect, not leaving any gaps at the moment. Hoodlum already going to be finding that first kill, and this is a great way to just throw off any strategy that has just come out from Method. Spray down from Thomas, he finds himself 2, make it a 3rd, and yeah, what tactical pause?
But this is the thing, whenever you call those tactical timeouts, there's always the chance that the team on the, once they've unpaused, they come back in, let's just rush somewhere, let's just switch up the pace, let's kick it up a notch. Why not? You saw what it's just done to them. And of course Method are going to be a little cautious on using all that utility. You don't want to just put everything into your stopping power at the start. Heels, desperate to keep hold of this M4. Trying his hardest to not get caught out. There are other players looking for Cinder. He's the one to do it, he knows what this is going to do. Reason, right back in the driving seat here. Letting Method get a taste of what could have been. And look at this pace coming in. And Thomas, what a way to welcome himself back to the stage. Just absolutely destroying them.
He knows.
He may not have a soul, but he certainly has some frags here.
He's putting him to sleep. That's what he said. That's what he said he's going to do. I love it as well. 13-10. Let's not get complacent, though.
Do you reckon it's going to be 13-11?
No.
No?
No, I'm not going all in pistols. It is CSGO, so it is possible.
True.
I'll sit on the fence a little bit, because whenever you seem to go like all in, then the pistols will win. You never go full Moses. Even though I may look a little bit like him, I don't think it works.
Don't encourage this. Henry's thinking of creamy couple jokes he can bring up now. All right? Don't start.
Is that what the notepad's for?
Stop it. He's just drawing pictures. Just various cream pies. Isn't that right, Henry? 13-10. Any damage. Anything at this point for Method. Do you want to get guns away? How do you get that right? That AWP. Get that away from Kamapanga. That's what dreams are made of. Unlikely, bearing in mind, but you can all but hope. The longer they take on this, the more they creep towards A, the more damage gets a little likely. Cinder, you can try and sell this as best you want, but the best you're probably going to get is Niels coming over. And he's not even really into it. And look at this, with all this sell, with all this, show, they haven't really done much with it, and now the push starts to begin, but will they expect Pulse here? That could have been danger. There's a couple of kills coming through for sure, but still, 3 alive, Hoodlum half HP. They need to get something done and fast, but no, Thomas again retains control, but Stanley with a shot through the smoke finds Thomas, and now it's a 1v2. Let's look at these after plant positions here. We've got Hoodlum up on long, Kamapanga on the site. One flash, one nade. Hoodlum gets contact. Oh, that's a shot from Stanley. It's down to the 1v1, and Kamapanga, he's taking the fight. Gets tagged. Stanley down to 15. No kit, of course, so time is of the essence. He needs to get moving, and Kamapanga just needs to buy time. He does more than that. He takes his life, but down to one man in that situation. Gets a little dicey, doesn't it?
Yeah, you don't normally hear such a loud cheer after beating pistols unless it was that close. And, well, Method make things interesting. They've done some damage, but at this point in the game, they wanted to be stealing that one away. Not only because it would help them massively in terms of the scoreline, but also it helps them massively with sort of their opponents, because we've already seen how this game has gone. It hasn't been like interchanging rounds and very, very close situations. It's been streak after streak after streak, and while back on the buy and back on the rush towards B, straight through, but Stanley this time has started strong. Weber beside him will be able to get one until Cray decapitates him, but Stanley round the edge of this smoke with the help from Pulse and the nade is going to give them an advantage, leaving it all onto Cinder. Oh, he's done great things from this drop spot, but surely not a 1 versus 3. That would be too much, and Jinko's there to finish him off. Break back. A lot of damage done in the previous round as well, so I'm interested to see how much money Reason actually have.
We'll find out here.
Enough.
Yeah, still got 7 casing on Cinder. He can do whatever he wants. He can drop a people Thomas
and
as well.
Thomas as well, yeah.
Yeah, both have decent money. Running low on the buffer now, they're down to like 4k, 2k. It's not, they don't have that complete longevity, of course, but double up. Method giving it everything they got now. Niels and Weber back on those. We saw it worked well before for a little bit of time. They're able to control that kind of fast pace. Now we need to see a different look from Reason. They need to cut a new figure here for us. Show us a little something different. Maybe a slower pace, maybe a different hit. That's lovely. That's next level from Cray, isn't it? Does eventually get it to the right place. Yeah.
I was like, where did their flash go?
Exactly.
What was that? Weber's been playing very passive with the AWP up until this point. This time he's going aggressive over towards Plat, looking to try and section off this part of the map. Has a teammate's Molotov as well to hold them a little bit further. That could work lovely. He's also got himself that smoke to just throw deep, just to deny them any portion towards this Plat as well. So this is the first time I really think we've seen him go properly aggressive. And so far, T's don't look like they're doing too much, although a missed smoke again. That's going to give quite a lot of presence now over towards Drop. Thomas is going to be looked to peek in. There's 2 players waiting here, however. Of course, the Plat position allows for this. Pole's going to be finding one.
Good for him.
And Thomas does return with the Molotov, but other than that, there's not a whole lot, and they are going to go rotating back towards this A site. Genko waiting on spot. Has support from Neil, but goes down to Hoodlum. A lot of damage done, however. Now Niels has an awful lot to do. He goes down as well. Karma looking to do more. Thomas trades it again, and somehow it's down to just Weber. It was going so well. The missed smoke, as you said, helped them wonderfully. Unfortunately, if you get shot in the face, it doesn't matter. No emotion.
No, there's not much to say about these situations, is there? You have a really nice buy, you get overrun. A couple of opportunities you could have worked with, but don't come through. 15-11 Method, merely tasting what they could have had in the form of a victory. It's spiraled away from them, to say the very least. Hoodlum's got 3 HP, so he's getting as far away from the bomb as possible, and if he could find Weber and kill him on 3, I'd be impressed. But more than anything, this is horrible times for Method. This is not what they wanted to see in any way, shape, nor form, as now they come into what could be the final round, and likely the final round, with very little money. Can't have hang you there, with Thomas doing wonderfully.
I think the scariest thing about that round is that they actually sectioned off B with the AWP, and that they were more heavy over towards A and Drop. And those are the 2 positions where they actually lose the majority of their players. So if anything, the read there was really good. The read was perfect. They just didn't execute it very well and got taken down by some wonderful entries. So looking like we're having another tactical pause. Earphones out.
Yeah.
And again, it is looking like Weber is going to be the one talking.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactical timeout if they have their headsets off. Are we sure it's tactical? Would it be technical? Okay, that's interesting. Wait to see what's going on here. Because it looks like Weber's... Okay. Just trying to get the information what's going on. I think one of the players just taking a moment. They're not feeling so spot on. So hopefully they'll be all right in a second, just taking a breather. So that's why the headsets are off. It's, you know, no harm, no foul. So don't worry. We're not going to sit here and discuss money or anything information-wise. But we can talk about the situation. This is going to be very, very tough for them to keep going on now. You're going to be feeling pretty worn out by this point. You've had a very, very long game. It does seem as though the players are back on. Your headsets are there. So timeout has been dealt with. All is well on the Method front. And they might have to face the music here. Staring down a bit of a barrel of a gun at this point, isn't it? You know you're coming into this round. Not much to be said about it. You've got the next map in the back of your mind as well. I think Mirage going to be coming up after this.
Was that the choice of Reason as well?
I don't know at this point. Honestly, Mini Moses, don't throw out these questions. This is why I like Jason. He just lies to me with conviction. That's what I need.
Okay, the next map is the choice of Reason.
I like that about you. There we go.
Much better. Then if I'm wrong, you can just throw me under the bus instead.
I just won't highlight it. Just don't bring it up. All right, we'll just swiftly move on.
Look at Thomas at the top of the board. It's a strong name, I have to admit. I like the name Thomas. Not sure why.
Why do you like this? But no, look at the purchase as well coming in for Method. It's shoddy at best. They still have that AWP on Weber, which he was able to save and keep over.
He's been a bit quiet on this second half, though.
Could have dropped a little something out for his teammates, maybe. Dropped a pistol over to Genko or maybe something to Pulse, and then, you know, they could have had a little bit more utility, but no. this point, we'll see what they can do.
Oh, it's a nice little fake as well. They've been rushing into this B site so often after these pauses that instead they throw in a lot of nades. They're going to go running straight in, and Neil gets taken down within seconds. Jenko steps up, finds himself a weapon. He is in the back lines. Decent position. Pulse gets another as well. Actually gives them a man advantage, and every kill they get is a weapon to be found. Push coming back in from Jenko. They should know he's there. Cray looking to try and get through up towards the ramp. Cray actually manages to get himself one back as well, but it's really, we want to spot the position from Jenko, but Cray reads it perfectly, leaves it into the 2 versus 2. Weber with another. That Catalyst AWP doing the work, gets himself the first, however. Cray now looking to try and get this quad kill, spots out, but doesn't manage to do it, and the defusal will come in from Weber.
Bit of a save of the day from Weber there as well. Able to go solo in that one. 3 kills for him. Stopping Cray before he just got something phenomenal building as well. But Weber's been instrumental in this too, bearing in mind. He's the one who had the AWP, still able to make impact into the right place as well, even though that first player just got completely overwhelmed for Method. Good work. Now there's opportunity. Limited amounts, bearing in mind, but there's a window they can build into.
Better than last round.
Cray, is he buying armor? Yeah, he's got that. Look, I've seen enough UKCS where they just completely forget to buy armor, so I'm just, you know, I'm checking.
Happened twice earlier today.
Yes. Special, isn't it?
T-side. Going back into more of a default round. Still a lot of utility, actually, for the CT side, so it's not one of those positions where you'd think, okay, we want to get this expended. Tom the name just got a little bit weaker, I'll be honest. T-side looking to try and take control over towards that B side of the map. Still have the AWP, this time posted much more passively. Molotov is going to be going down to slow them a bit. Still quite early on in this round though, a minute left on the clock.
Stanley and Weber need to be the ones to hold this back. You can see Reason starting to line themselves up. This will be a scripted piece coming out. Smokes, Molotovs, whatever you like. Last man through will be Pulse, probably. He's over by the door, and they know what's coming their way. What can you do this time, Weber? Last time you saved the day. Can you do it again? The first connects, but the second won't. It's Hulu and Kamapanga coming in, and there it is. Reason swarm the site. B is theirs, and it's retake time for the last 2.
Neil and Jenko, one been much further down than we normally expect. The other been further up, and already Jenko is gone. Neil now into a 1 versus 4. You wanted him to step up, but this would have to be something absolutely incredible to keep them in this map. And he does manage to get the first. He's still got such a task ahead of him. 3 players to find. Flashbang will be going out. Has the incendiary. Actually blinds himself, so wastes a little bit more time. He's going to be coming out. Does a lot of damage, but eventually it's not enough. Cray will finish. Reason will take themselves map number 1. And now they're going to head off to Mirage, looking for that 2-0 to get themselves further up that table.
A decent performance all around. Reason got it off to a great start, bear in mind. Was it 7-0? Looking so good. Great recovery from Method. They came back into that game. You saw Niels coming alive, Weber starting to deliver, a lot of the players stepping into it, but then Pulse as well. But they fell off, and they fell off hard as well. A little bit of a shame at the end there. It's got to feel pretty heartbreaking almost to get that close, to almost have that comeback. But anyway, that's enough from us. We're going to head over to Tom and the boys on the desk to probably break this one down after the break.
Thank you very much, Pansy. Thank you very much, Tom Biz. Yeah, there you go. Map 1 done. Reason proved that they can be stone cold killers on Cobblestone. They win that one. What we'll do is have a quick break now. When we come back, we'll have all the analysis from Mr. Henry and Thorin. Right then, Reason get their first Counter-Strike win of the Elite Series. They defeated Method 16-12 to win Cobble. So much going on there. I have to say this though, the leader for kills for Reason, Thomas, 26. That 2-week holiday has done him a world of good. I don't know what he's been up to in Cuba, but it's really paid off there. 26 kills, and the most for Method was Pulse with 23. But look down there on the kill list in terms of Jenko being at the bottom. That is not what we
I've been
expected.
told he's like the superstar player. He's going to be lighting up that scoreboard. But yeah, he was on 8 for 22 for most of the second half. So that's a little bit disappointing for me, especially being told how good he is.
Yeah.
Weber as well didn't really step up until the last 3 or 4 rounds. He got a 4-man. He was right at the bottom as well. So the winning factors, we said, those two have to step up. Didn't really arrive then. That's a little bit disappointing, I think.
And obviously, a very valiant effort by Pulse. Guy was sick in this game. But in the end, the team kicked the bucket.
I see what you've done there. There's a bit rumour that a couple of the players are feeling not quite themselves in that Method team. So
I wouldn't want to be them either, to be fair.
Not at the moment, but they've got a chance. I mean, Thomas, here's some of the kills from Thomas today for Reason. And obviously, Pansy was saying when she was commentating and casting that you wouldn't have been feeling too good about this Method, that they got into such a good lead, didn't they, Reason?
Yeah, absolutely. They went up 7-0 here. I have to say, generally speaking, I thought Reason game were really good here on Cobblestone. Their T side especially, seems like they've done their homework. They've got a nice variation of strategies, a mixture of fast-paced and slow-paced stuff going in there, defaults coming through. I love their B executions, very simple, very fast as well. It seemed like Method didn't really have a response to that, especially. That was actually quite good to see. And just as Method tried to adjust what they're doing towards the B-bomb site, they're rushing A. That's perfect. That's how you should be calling as a CSGO leader. So that was really impressive for me. I didn't expect that from Reason. Good showing, and just to note as well, that's Method's map pick. Reason pick it up, so they're looking quite good for a 2-0 here.
Yeah, now when we go to the next map that has been decided, I mean, is it an opportunity for Method to come back into this? We're going to have Mirage map.
Well, we did hear from some of our sources, obviously some of the other casters are in the UK, so they know some of these teams that have been playing them. They did tell us that Method have switched up some of the things that they're doing on Mirage, so maybe they're going to throw a different look at them that they're not expecting. Apparently their mid setup's going to be different.
Yeah, apparently the main thing about this Method team is they don't really have a primary AWPer. And that's a bit of a problem for me. I've never liked that in Counter-Strike in general. If you remember like Fnatic, when they came back recently this lineup, they were every single map, every single round, a different AWPer. It can work if you have great. It's nice to have options, but still, you want to have that main AWPer. Just to have consistency. You can base when you won rounds and when you lost them, you can say, right, this didn't work out, we can change this. But this is the problem we've got for Method. They don't really have a primary AWPer. And Mirage, very AWP-centric map in general. You need a double AWP setup going forward, and you need someone who's going to take it by the reins and see whether they can actually carry with that sort of performance. I'm not expecting that from Method. Considering this is Reason's map pick, I'm going to expect another victory for them, maybe even bigger than that, maybe like a 16-5 or something like that. I really feel like they're the better team right now. When
you mentioned the AWPer, we saw with XL, obviously, Luzza likes to use the AWPer, and they had buying rounds specifically in order to give Luzza an opportunity with the AWP. So how will it affect the buying rounds for Method? Will it at all? It
depends on the CT side. You can, like we said, a double AWP setup is very viable. We know Weber can AWP, so can Neil Zeno as well. So as long as they get on those weapons, I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine. But whether they get themselves an opportunity to even bring out a double AWP setup on the CT side, you need to start winning rounds for that to happen. You need to actually take ecos if you start losing rounds and be disciplined. Not seeing too much from the star players. Like we said, Jenko, everyone's been telling me this arena, so I got it today, is watch out for him. He's the star. I was expecting like Weber to be the big name these days, but apparently it's him. 8 kills by round number 25.
He's just trying to ruin your day, Henry. That's what it is.
Everyone is. But I'm just a nice guy trying to do my job, Tom.
Cool. Aren't we all? Now, Thorin, Matt's also trying to do doing his job. Mirage, how do you see this one coming? You've just seen from Cobblestone with Method and Reason.
Yeah.
What can you predict to happen in this?
Well, I mean, as Henry says, the fact that Reason's won Method's pick and this is their pick, already that doesn't bode well for them. That's kind of a bad omen, unlike the excellent omens that sponsor this tournament from Hewlett-Packard.
Okay. What about the mid-section?
Oh my God, he's done it.
This is going to be a key area for this map if anyone hasn't seen it.
Especially because of what Henry said, which is that if Method are going to be passing the AWP around between themselves, this is a key map to lock down that middle with the AWP because you can do so much when you have that kind of setup.
It's the gateway of the map for both teams. The CTs can challenge this. One of the few maps we have in CSGO where you can actually actively push up towards middle, take the Ts down. You can act as the offensive side when you're on the CT forces. So that's actually quite an exciting prospect, especially for a team like Method as well. I still do think across the board they have more highest talent ceiling, if you will. They can actually get up there and have the better angels, and I want to see that more on the CT side. Cobble doesn't lend itself to that. You have to be very passive on the CT side. Mirage, you can get in their grills, you can start challenging frags, and I hope we see that from Method. That's something we do need to see from them. They're going to stand a chance there. They can't be holding back and allowing Reason, from what I can see, have lots of great executions and strategies to work with. I think Method needs to be shutting that down nice and quickly. Okay, Thorin, quick question. You said there can only be one Tom on this show. Tom Biz has been laying the smack down. So what's your thoughts? Which Tom should stay next week?
I mean, Thomas in the game had 28 kills, so he was
3, a new contender.
Maybe a new contender has emerged.
Okay, there can
only be one though, right?
We'll throw over to one other Thomas. His name is Tom Biz and Pansy as well. Enjoy map 2, guys.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I'm sorry, you are runner-up
Yeah,
Tom
no.
now. You're trying to claim the title.
I was
You're
trying to
picking on the
claim
poor
it.
host. It's not
I'll
gone well.
I'll take second. After that performance, I'll take second. That was impressive. So
Yeah.
if he can do that again, then sure.
He can be the Alpha Thomas.
Yeah, no, I can go back to that, especially after that amazing interview you did earlier. I just don't have that same sort of charisma.
That is very true. Not many of us do. Let's bear in mind, we can't all be Thomas, but we can work towards it. And yes, Mirage, of course, highlighted perfectly by Henry and the boys on the desk there as well, our middle, how you can control it, how there's a lot of different looks you can have to it, and what you can do to really kind of capitalize on this map itself. It's one of my favorites. I love watching Mirage. Mirage and Inferno, love a bit of it. One of those you can see the best in teams and sometimes the worst. So really quite polarizing. So I'm hoping Reason get to show us their strength now. So we saw what they could do. They had that great start. I want to see that dominance throughout. I want to see them really push this forward. And for Method, I want to see them try and close a game out here. They still need that win. They still need something on the board here. This is a disaster for them. But you know what it's like, because if you have those close games, you know you give everything to that comeback. You're hoping it's going to work. You've got Weber coming in hard on this. You know, you've got them really trying everything you can, and then you lose. That's when you get frustrated. That's when you get disappointed. So hopefully they can adjust here and get themselves ready for map 2.
One thing to mention, though, is that the only map that Reason have won so far has been Cobble. They've won 2 maps, both times Cobble, so yet to see them perform anywhere else. This is definitely a map where I feel like the UK definitely feel at home. Mirage is one that you expect to see almost every single time. And so Method, they'll probably feel just as home going into this map. Now, Reason are going to be starting over on that T side. And at least early doors, they're going to be heading towards that B side.
And look at the stack, though. Method already have 3 players here. Weber's going to fall off to the back pillars, but you do have 2 others. Pulse playing over by bench. Going to get a little bit of contact. This is lovely stuff from Method so far. Beautiful shutdown between Weber, Jenko, and eventually Pulse. They get it all done, but very well read then. Good positioning. 3 players to that site that early. Clearly a bit of a read.
Yeah, really nice start. And well, now the T's just going to be investing back into a few pistols, looking to try and break straight back. The CT side, actually going to go fairly heavily on rifles as well. Stanley, okay, we're waiting. What's he going to buy? There we go, UMP. So a couple of UMPs alongside the rifles. Only going to be pistols. Karma looking for the dig early on in Neil's site. No, I don't think I'm going to be taking this fight anymore. Allowing middle to go to the hands of this T-side. But of course, the great thing about having the longer range weapons, you can sort of just fall back a little bit, play the more passive positions, hold the angles with the rifles and force the T-side to come to you. However, they're getting very close up towards short, but Stanley's just going to peek it. Finds 1, 2, and with support from Jenko as well. It's a shutdown round, every player surviving, and that is perfect for making that economy.
Yeah, that's what you want. Keep it nice. Keep it clean. Build the money up. Get back in the game. Not exactly a team who gets, super pumped up. You look at Excel, I guess you look at a little bit of Epsilon. Some of the teams, they do get pretty vocal. They do get into the game, but it looks like Method. Again,
Infused as well. Never forget Infused, although it's not really the team. One man in
That's
particular,
true.
but
But it's maybe
he's been
again,
mentioned enough, so we'll
yeah, we're all right. But no, it's more the fact that maybe they've done this a million times. Let's bear in mind these guys aren't new to stages. Some of the players are, bear in mind, but the vast majority not so much so. Weber eventually goes down, but good damage done. Another little follow-up from Stanley. And hopefully they don't lose much more than this. You're kind of hoping that you pick up that rifle or get it away or do something. They're trying to go for a cheeky bomb plant, basically. Slowly worked out towards A, but no. Pulse will not be moved. He's played it smart then and hung around, even though that B hit, it looked quite likely, but Weber got a lot of information and they just held standard spots.
Yeah, especially when you have a massive advantage like that, rotating every player off, it almost definitely a mistake. And straight in with double orbs. Method not holding any bars in this sort of situation. They're not holding back. They're going to go straight for the fight. There's no AWP on the T side, of course. They haven't saved that extra cash. It's going to be AKs and utility. And this is definitely going to have the surprise factor. And Stanley, he's going to be going aggressive. 2 completely different AWPers to what we saw on Cobble as well.
Well, this is what was being said, wasn't it, on the desk? They really don't have those defined AWPers. Definitely seeing it. The thing is, if you're really good with it, it's great. But it's so rare that you can use it to its full extent. The theory potential of it. You can play it purely spawn-based, purely how a player's feeling, they're having a good game. It's so rare you actually get that full benefit of it. See what Stanley can do, though. Not much gap in that smoke for him to play with. So the molly to the back of the boxes, smoke towards middle just to keep him away from underpass, and falls back towards short. And Reason, the thing we've seen with their T side, at least when it comes to Mirage and such and so on, it's very patient. They love holding the top of mid, so that CT side aggression doesn't really fly with them.
A minute left on the clock with the rotation now coming back towards the A site, and CT side, at least for now, are very well set up for this push to come in. They've still got a decent amount of utility, a couple of Molotovs even, to try and slow down any pushes. And the double AWP still in play. This is yet to be revealed, so Reason are going to be pushing into what could be a nasty surprise. Pulse actually going to get done by the timing there. Has no idea that somebody's already pushed out, but Jenko's position is perfect, but he still gets caught out. Thomas with the entry kill. Only 25 seconds left on the clock. Neil's going to find one, and Pulse with another. But it's still going to be back to a 3 versus 2. The problem now for the T side is the time and the position of the bomb, and that smoke is just going to be holding them out of this site. They need to get these kills so quickly. Great position from Neil, and it's not going to be a strong start this time for Reason Gaming. In fact, this Method to go 4-0 up.
Perfect from Method as well. Not getting impatient, not walking into them, not going up mid trying to find that information. Even with the AWPing then, I think it was, who was it? Stanley at the start. Quite patient, quite calm on it. Didn't overextend. Did get caught, but it's Pulse who really found his form there. And actually, Pulse is having a very good game on that first map, so maybe we see a bit more of him. Same thing you said for Janko, of course. Doing quite nicely early game too. Weber, good start. Everyone, actually, from Method is starting to get into their faces. We see a little bit of a hero rifle from Karma Panga, but that's about it. Everything else, Tech 9s, and that's it. Yeah, nothing to really write home about.
Yeah, the problem is, because he doesn't get any loss bonus from the previous round, it does mean that going into the next, unless they get a bomb plant, he's probably going to be left with a Tech 9, so not ideal. Weber looking for a little bit of aggression here. Actually just going to pop flash out, try and get some information, but Karma's a lot further forward than he expected. That's already 2 openings, in fact. Cinder's managed to get another. And now they've got a couple of rifles to play with. Cinder still doing work with his Tech 9. Finally, Jenko will put him down. But this round with only 1 rifle and a few pistols is working wonders at the moment. Pulse and Jenko, do they really want to be handing these weapons over to the T side? That's the real question.
They need a quick kill, or just something very decisive to start them off here, but Reason not really giving him much to play with, and even though Jenko is doing work, this is lovely stuff, beautiful work from him. It might all be for nothing. Hoodlum just needs to buy time. And Pulse is not liking this. He has no kit either. Takes the wide fight, Hoodlum. But does he have the time? Gets the kit off the body of the Fallen, and he goes back to it. And he should have just enough time here. Pulse going to get the defuse, but that was down to the wire, and you can pretty much thank Jenko for that one. Damn it, Yanko.
I don't know how he manages to just separate each individual frag, and then Hoodlum at the end doesn't have himself any armor to play with, so the aim punch comes into factor. Yeah. Of course, that was more of a save round, so at least a lot of damage done, but from that final perspective of a 4v2, you have to wonder if Reason really should have taken that round. Either way, it does mean with the bomb plant, they can get every single player on a rifle at least after the problems of the previous. And this time they're going for an early challenge into middle, but Jenko, feeling the confidence of the previous round, maybe looking for a little bit more.
Well, I wouldn't blame him going for that sort of thing. But again, we know that Reason like this slow play, but this time Reason have sped it up. But it's Thomas to catch off Niels, and that's a bit of a surprise here. Niels seemed a bit of a solid, the rock almost in the team, but Cray desperate for an opportunity through Connector. Already the play coming out through Palace gets quelled by Jenko as he looks for more. Maybe expecting this kind of challenge to come out from Connector. Flashes in, not good enough. Cray fully blind. Still hits the shot. Frustration, I can imagine, for Jenko. He did everything right, just the timing wasn't there.
And with a minute left on the clock, the man advantage will now sit with the T side. It's left the CTs with a split, holding towards window just to make sure that nobody can cross in that angle. And it does give quick rotations for Stanley at least. Leaving Pulse alone with that AWP. He has been doing very well on the A site so far, but it's not going to matter because the B site hit is where it's coming in, and the CT side have gambled correctly. However, the cross is going to make things quite a bit more difficult, and Karma, once again, is going to entry onto this site. Stanley looking like he may just try and back away from this fight. Of course, losing almost every single player in the previous round comes down to just one, so the money's not going to be in the best position. And there is a wall there as well, so he has to be a little bit careful of that. There's a chase coming in. Thomas, he really wants these frags. He wants to take the weapons away. In fact, loses his own. Now you have to wonder for the T's at least. Okay, 3 players alive. You're about to get your first round on the board. Let's keep enough money so that if you do lose the next, you're not just being straight reset out of the game.
Yeah, I don't mind them sending one to try and get the guns off. They can get that AWP away. Could maybe keep Stanley away from the M4 as well. That'd be pretty nice. And not to beat, as obviously the last three. Reason going to keep hold of the rifles. Cray, Karma Panya, and Hoodlum all staying alive here. And that B-side's working for them, even though it's, you know, Weber's the one holding it, and he's been pretty decent at it. They're just finding ways to get it done. They're definitely cracking into the side, and that mid-control working out quite well.
Yeah, I think Thomas getting those opening picks has been helping them quite a bit. However, straight back in with the double AWP setup, so still willing to invest back into this. Switching it again, so Weber going to be holding it this time. Probably because of the way that the B site has been going recently. They're going to switch it up completely, have an AWP in hand. However, it's an aggressive mid-take at the moment coming out. Nice start from Pulse. Stanley does actually shoot off a round, so they probably have a decent idea that he's here. Karma has managed to trade one back, but it still turns it into a 4v4 situation. And I think on opening, the T's are going to be willing to take that.
Looks like they're going to fall back towards A, which I don't mind. They still... Actually, they only have one smoke. It's on Hoodlum. So where's Hoodlum going to put this down? CT, stairs, jungle. Plenty of opportunity. Well, they could just walk out on this, bear in mind. But they're going to know there's AWPs up. So you have to try and cut off one of these two. You could straight face CT. You could nade it. There comes the smoke. It is the CT one. Hard to handle. Lovely timing as well. Cinder working out. Perfect synergy then. Good read on the situation, denying that peek over the smoke that was so desperately wanted. Niels, you're going to fall for the same thing. You're going to hop up there, but no. Molly just actually going out. Bit of a shame then. Now this opens up a chance, but well aware Hoodlum keeps tabs on the smoke that he placed. As Stanley tries to play back in from the back, he will claim one. It's kind of panging down, but where's Weber? A mile away and not really fancying this.
Oh, can someone make a book of Where's Weber? I think that'd be amazing, just hiding him in little pictures.
Yeah.
I'd buy it. Just saying, the marketing team of Method, if you want to make a Where's Weber book, I would purchase it.
We'll invest. We're here to save the UKC. Slowly but surely.
I do really like that sort of smoke play, though, coming out from Cinder. Just the timing, the second it goes down. You know that the AWP is going to want to try and stop at least one player and then fall away.
Yep.
So it's just instant peek. Opens up the site completely. They were gambling quite heavily on that AWP being able to do quite a lot. That was in the form of Pulse, who, fair enough, a couple of rounds ago he did just that. Instead, they invested into double AWPs again, didn't they? So their money's going to be right on the brink. Don't think they're going to have enough to really invest into this one. That leaves the T side with a good chance to get themselves right back into this after the early lead taken.
Not quite as drastic as, I guess, Reason on Cobble, the turnaround that Method had. But this could be nice. This could be a good build back here. 5-2, of course, currently. And why not go for a bit of aggression? You're on a lesser buy. Try and get a gun away. Try and do something proactive rather than waiting to see what the other team will do. There is a man watching this, though. That's going to be Cinder. Mostly towards ramp, but he's going to be listening out for Palace in case anyone would dare try and push down. But at the end of the day, you can see this patient approach from Reason. It's very slow, it's very meticulous, and they do this more often than not. Now, if they do head back round towards A, the only threat is Pulse. Of course, Janko is there, but kind of gets hard to utilize him. He can catch people out. He's holding a bit of an awkward angle. Cinder could be caught off guard here if unawares, but timing is everything.
They still have the AWP posted up in middle as well. They have gone heavier over towards the B side of the map, but that was the alarm bell. Pulse goes down. Now they start to rotate players over already towards this A site, looking to try and keep these players close. They'll gamble the others on B just to try and hold on to the weapons once the fight is lost. And, well, that should be the only chance that's really given to Weber here. They know exactly where that AWP sits. They have actually rotated in the rifle, which is interesting. We'll see what Stanley can actually do. The answer is absolutely nothing. And although Weber takes one for fun, he now has to just scurry away with that AWP. Can he get away with it? That's the question. Thomas has been hungry for these kills. Still going to take him down to just 15 HP. Weber desperately trying to cling on to life. Flashbang out and through the bench. We'll lose both guns in the end. 4 players surviving for the T side as well. There should be somewhat of an investment coming out from the CT side, as they did save on pretty much every single player.
Yeah. Pause comes in. This might be the time for Reason. to really take control of this game. But I'd imagine this is a timeout from Method more than anything. I don't know. We'll see how this one goes down. Again, for Method, they had a good streak for a while. They had a good run. They were starting to feel out the game. It looked like the AWPs were going well. That B hold was decent, but Reason just climbing back in the controlling driving seat here.
But it is worth mentioning as well that even in the rounds that they did win, it was still, what, 1 AK and 4 Tech 9s that managed to bring it down to a 4v2 that had to be a clutch coming out. So they've been winning the rounds, but they haven't been clean. And when they finally got broken in the end, they did get at least a little bit of extra damage done with the weapons that they had, but it still looked like Thomas is just rocking it at the moment. Just been finding picks all over the place, cleaning up weapons towards the end of the rounds. Had support from Cinder as well, and we've already seen that if Reason can get rolling, that they've strung a whole lot of rounds together over on Cobble, right at the beginning and right at the end, and that's not something the Method want to allow them to do.
No, and you can see that chat that time, mostly with Niels taking lead of the conversation then rather than Weber, a little bit back and forth, maybe having just a bit of a chat, but Thomas, again, so much patience on this team. It's so hard to play against. You can't go aggressive really towards middle, so you're always kind of, not guessing, but it's hard to play into. It makes you want to push those extremities where you can see players, as said, like Cinder, waiting for the chance at it. Not going to be gifted this time, and on the other side, I think it's Carmen Panya just kind of occasionally taking a little bit of a look towards those B-abs in case anyone's trying to push up. And Thomas looking towards middle. No one really actively pushing here. Be Stanley if anyone to take that first port of contact.
Heavier presence over towards A site this time. As you said, without information, they have been taking quite a few gambles. Thus far, at least, they haven't been paying off. Flash is going to give a little bit more presence over towards this connector spot, but quickly smoked out. Does mean that the Ts themselves don't actually have much information to gather. But at the same time, it means they can take control of different portions of the map without much of a response, down to the 40-second mark, as they do look to be heading over towards that B side of the map. A little bit of a fake being thrown out. Cinder going to find the entry, and that's going to pull a player away. That's a big problem. It leaves only one. Eventually, we do see the rotation back from Stanley, and he does manage to get himself that opening pick. Shutting things down at the moment. It's down to a 2 versus 3. Weber still just hiding in the back, and the bomb planted right in the open. Simple for him. Leaves it on to just Thomas in a 1 versus 3 with 15 seconds to go. He's going to have to do something incredible here to turn things around, and Weber, sat at the back, will be the one to finish off both remaining players. 6-3, and Method are back on the board.
You got to feel if that little bit of that fake towards A, not even worked out better, but wasn't found out so quickly. There could have been so much more to that. You saw that, but, you know, the two players on B, one side to peel away a little bit, and you're like, oh god, if it's just down to Weber, maybe that could have gone wrong. But no, Weber plays that really calm as well. Doesn't show his hand too early. That's the patience I expect from a player of, you know, someone of his experience. And Pulse this time over by Tribox. A faster play towards middle here from Reason. Bit of a switch up of pace. Neil's forced out a window.
Thomas looking to try find a little bit more control. Again, they've been handed mid in a lot of these rounds, but if it is more the CTs allowing them to have it, I don't really see too much of a problem with it. Especially when they have all of the angles covered. Pulse looks away at the wrong time and actually misses the shot because of it. They now know where the AWP is. That's a little bit of information to be gathered. Neil looking to try and find Thomas, who's just stuck in the corner at the moment, and well, wiped down at the moment already. 2 players dropped, make it 4 as it's doubled in a second. And Karma, he has the bomb. He's got 5 players to find and a minute to do it.
Come on, hang it. Trying to find an avenue to keep this round competitive, but highly unlikely. 5 players going to be looking your way. Pulse is the angle as well as soon as you step out. And why not send Jenko in there anyway, and he's going to get the job done for you. So yeah, Reason, as you said, they may be able to get mid control, but actually getting into the sites just seems a step beyond them at the moment. They've just been unable to convert it from that point forward. So again, maybe they need to look for an answer. Maybe fall back to, you know, more of those side hits coming in. Maybe, you know, actually work for me, because they seem to just get caught up in connector. They haven't had that, you know, well-timed hit towards a site yet. It all seems to kind of get a little out of place on the timing.
I think the big difference we have to take into consideration as well is that Jenko's actually having a really good game.
True.
Which he was not even slightly on Cobblestone. He wasn't there. But already see him get a 4K, which wins them around that they probably shouldn't have won. Goes down to a 1v1 for his teammate. And they're chipping in with a couple of kills. Quick push from Thomas, though. He's still very good at getting these entries. However, Weber has been a rock on this B site. Eventually goes down, leaves an opening. Once again, these pistols still a decent avenue. Craze in such a good position as well, and just snaps onto the head of Genko, leaving it down to Pulse and Neil. Once again, these pistols have gained an advantageous position for Reason Gaming. Can they do it again? This time Genko's not there to help them. Pulse with the AWP leading the charge. He's the man with HP. They're not going to copy Bogdan and opt to throw over that AWP. Instead, just going to go pushing in, missed shot, and quick stuff from Hoodlum and Cray. Pistol steal around. And once again, you have to sort of call into question a few things there for Method.
What would you be questioning, Mr. Tom? What's the top of that list?
Just more like how the fact that they can just run straight onto short. That's a little bit worrying for me, like, especially when they were initially holding more aggressive angles. Cray's just been sneaky in the backlines, and then I think once it comes down to this 2 versus 3, okay, it worked previously, fine. But you do have to wonder whether it's worth just handing those rifles over towards your opponent. It gets to a point where, okay, maybe we should just make sure our buys are good. That's what you've been winning. Holding off the sites, playing more passively. Why then give them more of an avenue to play with in the next round?
I like them going back to more of an A-hit, though. I actually prefer this. Reason haven't had that much success through middle. They've had the occasional round, obviously, with the pistols and you know, they're quick in their pace. But the actual gun rounds, they've been a little stumped on it. They're going in pretty dry on this, though. Not much utility put to play yet, but Cinder is coming up with the goods. Genko and Niels both suffering, and look at that hit coming through. Thomas there as well. Another headliner thus far for Reason. And even Craig going to try and make it hurt towards B. Just there trying to find one. Weber's already low, bleeding. And there it is. Cray strikes and it's Stanley. And I prefer that. A nice switch-up comes in. Unlikely play here from Stanley to get much more done. Probably if more than anything caught in the heels, but nice little bait-out play, but he gets found in the end. Nice switch-up there from Reason.
Yeah, I feel like Thomas, after being away for a couple of weeks, is looking to try and get himself up on that entry kill stat, because he's been finding kill after kill after kill while running into these sites. That's another round where he gets the opening. He's got support from Cinder as well to get a second, and at the moment, that's been the one thing that they haven't been able to counter. Everything else, we've sort of seen, okay, we'll give them mid. They can have mid. But Thomas just running into sites. Okay, he's 7 and 10. But I think at least 3 or 4 of those have been the very first kill of the round and on a bomb site as well.
He's definitely bringing some very, very valuable kills. The ones he does get, you know, it's not fluff. He's been doing well at that. But again, towards middle with the bomb. You got to find a way around those pistols. You know their money's going to be pretty trashed, so how do you approach it? Try and buddy up, try and be careful. Don't mind it. Got to be careful of Weber, though, holding that deeper angle. He's going to get away with at least 2 shots there. Let's connect 1, 2. No more to be found, though. Tagging up both Hoodlum and Karmapanya, but the B-side's open. It's pretty much theirs. Pulse is close by, but you kind of pray for those one-taps to come through, even with the USPS. Soften the blow for the P250 and the Deagle, but it looks unlikely as the bomb will be planted and Cinder unleashes, and Stanley, no flank to be found.
I think this is where you sort of have the one problem of almost abandoning mid every round, is that in normal scenarios, taking the bomb mid, very risky. In this game, I'm pretty sure Reason have had mid for free almost every single round, so in this round they go, you know what? If you're going to give us mid, we'll take it, and then wherever we get the picks, we'll actually just switch things up and take the bomb in that direction, so wonderful stuff.
Again, this is a good turnaround from Reason. They're at least kind of finding avenues back. It doesn't feel like they've hit that brick wall and not been able to recover at all. It feels like they've gone, okay, well, you know, our mid takes, they've been a little bit hit and miss. We haven't found you know, a full way to take it over and then work into a site for a win. So they're going, okay, well, what can we fall back to? A bit of a site hit, trying to make it, you know, a little bit harder. And look at Pulse. This is Method's reply. A little bit of ramp aggression. Not just him here, but Janko too. This could be a nice touch.
Yeah, Pulse up close. Has another smoke. That should tell them he's right there. Thomas, almost see a little bit of a reaction going to go spraying through. They have to be a bit careful here. Also the position of Cinder. He's been so good at getting these picks out from Palace as well. Flashbang goes out. Pulse just looking to try and fall back. And we'll be able to do just that. Minute 10 still left on the clock. A whole lot of utility remains for this T side as well. Molotov going to go out onto default. This will force Pulse back, and they're just sectioning off portions of the map. Jenko will be able to get away with one. He has been a rock on this site, gets a second as well, but eventually Hoodlum is there to trade. And it's all going to come down to the rotations. There's a quick flank coming in from Stanley. That's probably going to be the most valuable player at the moment. But the remaining two, they sit in CT. They've got to try and find a way back in. And look at Cinder. He's read it. The unfortunate thing is they've actually gone through Palace.
Neil's being flashed in here. Not finding anyone instantly. Hoodlum in a bit of a, not necessarily one and done, but it's hard to string together kills. Nowhere to back from. Smash these shots out, finds an angle. Oh, Weber's caught off guard, but he does get the better of him. It's down to a 2v2, but time is ticking. Both players now on the CT side on the site. Not much of a shot at this one. Cinder's going to find one, and Cray is there. It's a great recovery from Reason, finding their avenue back into this game. We haven't seen that switch up yet come out from the other side of Method. We haven't seen them go, okay, well, how do we then adjust this? How do we get the information early? They tried that double play towards ramp. Well, I guess one player did pretty well from it, but there was not, no much longevity to it. But I did like the molly hit that came out from Reason then. There was, what, a molly to stairs, dark, and I guess default as well. So it's quite, instead of the smokes almost, they just went with that.
Yeah, and it has been a decent comeback from them as well. They even the scoreline up at 7-7. It's going to be SMGs, an MP9 thrown in. Love a bit of MP9 as well. We'll see if anything can get done with it. Jenko actually starts things off with the UMP. But it's going to slow down from here. The bomb's still left in spawn. A little bit of presence over towards mid Palace and in Apps itself. But that man advantage, let's see how the CT side actually play off of it. In most cases, you wouldn't want to see too much more aggression, but with the buy they have, you have to wonder whether it could be the better case.
We should see Hoodlum swinging through underpass and maybe just pinch towards A, considering they have Cinder so close up, but with the bomb already kind of lingering towards that A side as well. But it's quite hard to deal with that when you're in Palace. And Nils already spotted Hoodlum towards underpass. And Stanley, of course, will be able to see this from short too. So if they start trying to play out towards connector, he gets uncomfortable. They're going to take the fight on that. Cray should be winning that, but no. 5-7, clearly pretty strong at this point. Molly goes in, flash comes out, now limited information to be found. But look what Pulse is up to. An attentive, close play towards ramp. Only 38 seconds. If he even has small success here, gets one down, buys a bit of time, it's game on.
Yeah, so low on time. Here comes the MP9, but he gets neither. Does some damage at least. Jenko's still with a chance to do more. Sprays the first. The second comes in as well from Jenko. He's got massive in this round, and it leaves Cray alone. 28 HP. A round stolen by Method using the SMGs. And while, if you look at the man right at the top of the board, you can see, well, you can see the impact he's had just there. 18 kills for Jenko, completely opposite to what we saw on the previous map.
Yeah, night and day performance from him. Finding impact, doing a lot of, not necessarily the easy kills as well. He's had a couple rounds where he's been able to farm up a bit of free cash, but even the A hit where he still got 2 from playing in dark when there was a really well-constructive hit came in. The guy gets good kills at this point. He's putting up numbers for his side, which are keeping them very much relevant to this game. You imagine you remove him from this, where do they stand? Do they have a little bit of a similar repeat to the start of Cobble? Does it spiral away, or can you not put that much weight on one player? Again, hopefully there'd be someone else who could maybe step into that position, but if I'm honest, I haven't been that overly thrilled yet with that kind of versatile, everyone can AWP sort of thing we saw there either.
Yeah.
No one thoroughly excelled in my eyes, no one really stepped up or put it to a really good place. People getting excited by some CS. Who'd have thought it? I thought it was Neil behind me, but it's not. 7-8. Reason within touching distance now, but Method do keep that lead. They came into this map and looked pretty solid so far, so let's see if they can actually turn up on this T side. Jenko there straight away. Big performance from him in the first half. Second half now looms, and you're going to see quickly Thomas regretting this choice. If he can make it away from this somehow alive, I'll be thoroughly impressed, but he's got it all. He's seen everything. And how is he still alive? How has no one killed him? Finally, Stanley takes him down, but this is one of those pistol rounds you just don't want to remember.
Yeah, so much control already taken by the T side, and Cray with Hoodlum going to be in the back lines. Plant not going to be anywhere near them. Cinder will at least be able to get one, and he's got to be a pinnacle player from this position. He's got to be careful though, because Weber just watching in case he tries to do anything from behind, tries to drop down as silently as possible, and actually does manage it. Cray's going to get one, but Cinder, here's the drop, finds another, down to the 3 versus 2. Could this be a throwaway pistol? It's looking like it as the defuse comes in. and shaking the head, Lauren. What do you think of that?
Don't rat me out. They can't see me. All right, it's just an exciting retake, Tom. We never look at the negatives, only the positives, okay? Very exciting retake, beautifully pulled off.
Positive pansy.
That's...
Is that the first time that's ever been said?
Yeah. Absolutely. 8-8. We've got P90s, and I know you love a good P90. It throws you back to those Katowice days and some of your fondest memories of CS. So why don't you
It can be. There's
have a
one
look.
person I allowed to buy a P90, and that is Get Right. Anybody else, I don't agree.
Well, you know what?
And that's
Cinder's
on
gonna
Dust
prove you
too
wrong.
as well.
Cinder's going to prove you wrong. He's going to just show you what this gun can do.
Well, against unarmored players.
Absolutely.
So
Look
no-
at this. He's a god tier play. He's got 2,600 kills on that. Did you just see the stat track when he pulls it out again? It's not like he doesn't use it.
My P90 has more kills in it than that.
Really?
Yeah, really. When I started, you know, bought one P90 and I kept it all the way through. I think I got like
Likely story.
3,600 kills on it.
That's upset me a little bit,
Pro
hasn't it?
P90.
You sit there flaming it, but you go home, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch that demo back. Ooh.
Oh yeah, no, it's
You love a bit of it.
it's a horrible weapon, but it really tilts your opponents.
Oh yeah, because the UK CS scene needs more of that. More rage-inducing
comment.
moments.
No
Just get
comment.
critical back. He loves a bit of it all. Cinder though, going to get it to, I was going to say Sing. Not quite going to live up to that. And,
He
you know, I
doesn't
know
get anyone with it. I thought he got one.
but no. But the thing is that I don't mind the fact that people go to other SMGs because the UMP did get slightly nerfed, but why the P90?
Yeah, it's
It's
more
just-
expensive, not better, and
It's
gives you less
not
money
much-
back. Like
Weber's happy.
there's no value from it at all. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because the rest of his teammates bought the UMPs. It may have been nerfed, but it is still making that money. But you look at their buy going into this round, and
One
it does
smoke.
seem, yeah, a little bit unreasonable. They have thrown one out already. Aggressive push coming out. They're going to try and take these battles. The flash is good, but there's 3 players waiting, looking to try and trade things, but it's not happening at all. Complete shutdown. 3 players at the top of mid. They've taken a lot of damage, but Hoodlum and Karma, if they manage to turn this round, well,
Well, the thing is, right, you wish that Reason for a second could have seen what they had utility-wise. If they knew they had, what, a couple of flashes and 1 smoke, you play them on longevity. Look at this little dirty off angle, though. This is all they can do. Flash into corners. Hoodlum lines them up, but can't knock them all down. If there was one more there, it all would look very, very possible, but no. Karma on just that UMP and gets outdone. Paul shows him what he can do. And Method, even with minimal amounts, make it count somehow.
yeah, I think they got a little bit lucky with the strategy that was thrown in there by Reason. 3 players pushing up the top of mid. They win the duels. They had 3 players waiting themselves. Hoodlum almost turns it.
Almost.
Very, very close. Unfortunately, they didn't actually make a whole lot of money in the sort of rounds. That's what happens when you buy a P90, because you don't actually make much money back, especially if you don't get any kills with it. So they're going to have to go for pistols in this one. Method more than likely to take the lead in this situation once again. Although they definitely have made some mistakes versus pistols so far.
They should play it out smart. There's no reason to rush anything. Method just should group up, play it safely. Just gonna take themselves through towards mid. No one's really watching. I guess you got Thomas playing through connector, and that's about it. No one playing window. No one's actively holding it. No one gonna try and make anything stick. Take this over. They could be doing. I was gonna see if they could do. I think they just did the smoke towards deep side connector. So this looks like it's going to be a B hit just purely off of the back of that. But unless Pulse gets good success, he actually spots out Cray. So maybe going to having an idea of what's waiting on the other side. Maybe a stack, maybe a little bit of an info play. Pulse now put on notice. He's not looking too confident. But look at Stanley as well. Just walks right on in. Did he spot one? I think he did. He might just be spraying in for this. But I'm pretty sure he saw Cray there. But doesn't expect the follow-up man. Hoodlum gets a second to get the job done. But it's all just sell a bit of a fake here. As look at the B presence. 3 players there. Bomb's about to go down. And Hoodlum and Karma Panya nowhere nearby.
Yeah, Hoodlum has managed to retrieve himself an AK, but that doesn't last very long as Pulse is still lurking around the back lines of A. And Karma now, if he can somehow get that back, there'll be a nice little bonus for them at least in terms of their money. But other than that, doesn't really look like there's too much they can really do in this round. A Method are going to make themselves a little bit of extra cash. Okay, maybe not. Might be losing a little bit. If he can get one more, that would be wonderful, but not going to happen. Eventually, Pulse finishes him off. 3 players surviving. And Method take themselves the lead.
They're back in it for now. They've got a chance. It's just the longevity more than anything. Yeah, there's no disputing that they can certainly do stuff here. Just, Reason's T side look pretty nice. I quite like the approach from it. See if they can make it stick on the CT side, of course. But looks like Stanley wants to get things going. Very, very quick play, and that didn't work out so well. Good trade from Stanley in the end. He could have gone for the CT smoke from that, but no, smoke's close. Limits information, but also kind of hinders what he can do, but flashes through it. This guy's going wild right now. Pushes in towards Dark, takes a moment to catch his breath, but he does have Pulse with him as well up. Playing out from Palace. And the rest of Method responding accordingly. Now the bomb's been picked up. Let's keep our eyes on where that goes, because I like this coming out from Karma Panya, pushing up through the B apartments to a slightly more aggressive position. Not going to allow them that free entry, that free path. It'll set the rest of Reason up to be able to play into this, but Stanley unleashes himself towards A. He's been a solo one-man army here. Thomas the only one to fight back, finding Pulse, but he's trying to just clear a route, allow the rest of his team through, but finally he falls. Cinder's there. 1 minute left, and this is a very, very strange round. He did great things on his own, but it felt like the team was almost ready for it. They didn't believe in it. And now it falls apart slightly.
Yeah, they are going to go rotating all the way back around. And Weber should be on the scene, really, before there's anyone from the CT side. They are holding very passive towards the CT spot. Actually, the push is going to come in. Karma's managed to get across to the site just in time. Has to be wary of short, and especially when he only has that UMP in hand. It's not going to be ideal. Weber, he should have an idea that there could potentially still be someone on the site, but Karma is just going to be holding. And look at the time. It's going to come down to that 15-second marker. If Neil goes for an open plant, this could be absolutely perfect. Peeks out. Karma drops the bomb, and now Weber has 10 seconds to try and turn things around. Molotov dropped onto the bomb. He will retrieve it. Goes for the spray, but Karma, with the hero play, gets himself 2 kills. The Molotov in at the end was a nice touch. And, yeah, just not checking the sights. They expected everybody to be on the other side of the map.
To be fair, the timing from Karma to push that position by bench and then just take a gamble, it was one of those lucky plays almost, but a lucky calculated play. If this happens, I'm in the right place, but I have no idea that if it is going to happen. It's one of those where it's very hard to define, but he played it well, put himself in the right place for success. Now this is going to put a little bit of a problem towards Method. Money's not so robust anymore. You've got a couple of Tech 9s. Niels, it doesn't even have any utility, no smokes to play, but it looks like it pretty much defaults you like A. Maybe Weber going to do a slightly closer smoke. I'm curious if it's going to go all the way to CT. Maybe the one towards the middle of the site instead. But here we go. Neil's going to unleash. Spamming away, hoping for a connection, but so far, not so good. Jenko, though, going to fight back, finds Hoodlum, and they do get the bomb down towards the site. So bomb plant comes in. They've retained good utility. Weapons are still up. And if Stanley can find one here, doing something a little bit ambitious, that would have been brilliant. But no, backs away from this now.
Smoke's thrown in. CT side don't have anything in terms of incendiary, so can't clear people out of angles. T's actually still have a Molotov of their own. Peek out from Jenko. Finds himself another one. Leaves it into a 3 versus 4. They're going to go aggressive, however. They've got to be careful in this situation, as now there's a couple of kills back for the CT side. Getting low. Again, Stanley goes big. It's all onto the 1v1. Karma's picked himself up the kit. Tapping the bomb and baits him in. But does he have enough time? No, he does not. So Method are going to take themselves the round. Karma goes down. Damn, that was close.
That was very close. What, 2 seconds away, 1 second? Something around that marker. You've got to feel for him in a way, but good time bought again. Good damage done. It's a close game back and forward here. It's hard to call it. No one's really come into their own. No one's taking strides in the right direction. It's back and forth, and you know what that does though to a CT side economy. It's going to be incredibly draining. I say a bit of investment, a decent investment from Hoodlum coming in. 5-7 full armor. Cinder just no head armor. Thomas as well going in on this. They're buying up pretty heavily. So again, we've got to hope that they can do something with it.
We've already seen 1 Zeus kill today. Karma going to be attempting another. Currently playing over towards the B side, so I'm interested to see how that will work. He's going to try and hold around the angles, possibly just wait over towards the van. However, in these sort of rounds, Method should have a decent idea that the economy is not going to be good for a reason. Patience from Pulse. Gets himself 1, but actually quickly traded out. Luckily, there's not really anything to be picked up. And the rest of his team looked like they were about to go all in onto that B site, but quickly changed their mind. Look at the rotation. Hoodlum all the way in those back lines as well. Going to be able to give so much over towards his team, although Stanley is waiting. Not going to be expecting it, and simple kill. And this could even force a rotation back. It would be quite a nice idea, in fact, after catching the player pushing so aggressively. However, T-side look dedicated to B.
I guess they don't... They've got a good idea, but you almost don't want to do that. Oh, Karma Panger, please. Please do this. Make me happy.
How? How on earth does he get away with that? Great, not with much hope in this situation, but that still has to be so annoying, just running around. Drop the gun at least. All smiles on Method.
He just looks so desperate to get the Zeus kill, so he's sort of like hopping around like, please, someone come close enough, please. Finally finds one. Jesus, this is it's one of those games where it's just such a slog, isn't it?
Don't have enough.
And Niels, it's weird, isn't it? It's either, you know, Django has a sick game and Niels just falls off completely, or, you know, vice versa. It's
Maybe they just switch names. It's always one player who's actually playing very well.
Do you know what? Maybe that's it. You've just unraveled the mystery.
Mind blown. Cinder actually still gets one. This is bare minimum investment, even less than we saw in the previous round. So any damage will be nice. Of course, allowing Method to get towards that 13. Cinder this time doesn't have any armor, so instant one taps needed, and well, that's the reason why. Stanley, big advantage with that aim punch, and they're just going to go running now towards this B site. Is there going to be any sort of cross taken? Doesn't look like Thomas can see anything. Dig comes in, unfortunately. Hoodlum only with a pistol of lower caliber. Won't get himself an instant shot, and Karma, he still has the Zeus. 2 rounds back to back? Surely not. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's more reasonable.
Jump through. Jump through. Go on. Not quite. Like the little T-Rex arms, just not quite making it there. But overall, this is a good recovery. Now, it may not be the most pretty CS. Obviously, that was a double eco, essentially. So you kind of expect it to go this way. And now the timeout comes in. I can imagine Reason going to be looking towards that buy pretty much now. They need it, right? They desperately need this round on the board. So hopefully they come up with a bit of a theory coming into this round as to how to deal with this, how to approach it, how they want to go about this. Because thus far, it feels very hit and miss. It feels very on and off. And we haven't seen them really string much together. And Method, starting to loosen up, it feels like. It looks like they're enjoying it, just kind of chilling out a bit, so yeah. I don't know, this is one of those games. You can see it on some of the players' faces. Thomas, they're having a chat though, so. Something about start and rotate, solid. Good information.
The most in-depth strategy ever created, of course. You do notice the difference though, like normally the very solemn faces of Method, but when like getting Zeused and then laughing about it, I think they must be feeling pretty confident going forward in this one. They had themselves the lead. I think they've looked much stronger on this map, at least.
Look, when you just lose Cobble like you did, you just lost all hope. So you're just laughing, you know? It's
pain laughing, is that what it is?
Yeah, you kind of just have to deal with it.
Oh, God, yeah, I'm pain laughing now.
You know, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
What was P90 again? Is that a different player now? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming back into fashion. Actually, there's 3 players without head armor, so although that would still be the case for any SMG, we'll see if Weber can now show us why people are buying the P90 again, because we're yet to really be proven wrong, I would say.
Moving accuracy is decent, rate of fire is decent. I guess if you're jumping out here and just spraying in, okay.
Almost.
Yeah, no trade though, that's another problem. Jenko's there, and there we go. Finally, Jenko does what they needed. Maybe a kill or 2 earlier, but still, job done to a degree. 2v3, no real safe plant here at this point, but there's no projectiles left in the utility, so nades to worry about, or mollies. Now, how do Method hold this? Always going to have one avenue of approach they can't fully watch. Neil's going to just play by the door. Watch for the push through from Kitchen, but Thomas is there. Lovely work from him, and Niels just has to swing on this. He has to go big. And he does get 2, but the third's just out of reach. Hoodlum plays it well, and well enough to get Reason back in this.
That would have been one hell of a way to step up in this match, but not going to be the case. Bomb goes down, so extra money will be made, and after winning 3 rounds in a row, they should still have enough to get an investment in. CT side, of course, only a couple behind, but yeah, it's going to be the Bank of Stanley that actually bails out. Method in this situation. So it does mean that although they've got a little bit of cash, and a bomb plant would still give them enough to have something in the next round.
Yeah.
This is Reason's chance. This is the point where they need to get back into the game. They lose this one, it's done, and Thomas, that's the start we're looking for. He's picked up the AWP. He's stolen it away. And, well, he's trying to play that star role.
Well, yeah, most of the time we saw Karma Panga running it, but this looks like maybe it's a Mirage thing, maybe a Spawn thing, maybe he's just feeling like he can actually make some work happen. Yeah, exactly. So it was dropped to him,
Thomas.
bearing in mind. So we'll see. Smoke towards mid window, going to keep Thomas at bay. He's going to have to adjust now off the back of that. Background towards CT, but maybe an incorrect gamble here. We're having 2 players at A. And this is a nice approach. I like this. Little bit of a boost towards the window. It's a nice counter piece. Weber actually playing that off really well. He just keeps that in mind. Maybe, I don't know, but Karma Panga showing what he can do with the rifle. They're not bad at all, but Cinder gets overwhelmed, swept aside, and a 3v3 off plant's about to kick in. Nothing to stop the bomb plant. Can they hold off the retake here? Method would get to 14, of course, if this goes their way.
Yeah, and the money would be absolutely stuffed for Reason Gaming, so this is a massive round if Method can take it. 1 incendiary on Cray. He also has a flashbang. The rest of the team don't have any utility, and they are out. They're not even going for it. Just going to hold on to their weaponry, try and come back into the next round. Maybe look to reset Method once again. At the same time, it now hits to 14, and this is too close for comfort.
Yeah, this gets a little awkward to deal with, isn't it?
Actually drop another player as well, so not even money being made in this sort of situation for Method, so definitely still possible. 3 rebuys necessary, but at the same time, in the next round, if this is lost by the CTs, they'll have no money going in what will be the last round of the map.
Yeah. All right. 14 to 11. Thomas back on the AWP. Does he have a better spawn than before? Janko as well, a decent A spawn. No, so just maybe Thomas
Someone just drop
likes...
an XM. That's a new one. Like, buying it for yourself is one thing. Dropping
Here you go,
an XM, that's another.
Enjoy, mate. Now he's like, have a go on that Cinder. I'm all right without it. I've gone from AWP to shotgun. A lovely little demotion, but Thomas there having a little bit of a via towards mid, but no one's really going to be there on the timing of the shot, so he's going to adjust round towards connector. Have a little look there too. So far, Method playing out like it looks like an A hit of sorts just because Stanley's there. Look where the bomb is. Certainly could play into this. Cinder going to be holding close. Now this becomes awkward. He has to back off from this. Allows Niels straight through towards Ladderum and work his way up. And this is a very uncomfortable position for those 2 players towards A. Let's see how they handle this.
Cray sat on the site. Hoodlum's already going to be gone. It's down to Cray. Awful lot to do. Tries to just fall back. Molotov clearing out his position, and Stanley in from behind. Now Thomas, AWP, what can he do in this situation? Answer is nothing. Karma, 1 versus 4. And look at the flank already coming in. Neil does not want to let him hold on to this rifle. Stanley's in position as well, making a lot of noise. The fact is, he's not going to expect Neil, and that will be all weaponry gone from Reason Gaming. Method now with 4 map points, and also the money is going to be stuffed.
Yeah, the thing for me there is the control they got was perfect for that A pinch. The 2 players already kind of locked towards the site. They still had ramp pressure coming in, they had connector pressure, and then Neil's up in Ladderum. Once they actually made that hit count, there was nowhere they could go, nowhere safe for them to fall back to. You're gambling, you can back towards CT. So it's very, very tricky. I saw smoke towards, is that a mid-window one from Pulse there, the little running number? Is that Bialy or Snatch? I think it's Bialy, if I'm not mistaken, who did it originally.
Yeah. I think it's Bialy smoke.
Yep. Always nice to see. Gives you a nice quick play towards middle. You can work off the back of it, banging through connector maybe, just have a little face towards short. Again, you know their money's screwed, so why not go for something a little bit quicker? Try and play off this together, but no. The smoke towards the deep side of connector might make this look like more of a B than it is an A.
Stanley, he's been leading the charge alongside Jenko, and will be leading to try and finish this off, but there's actually a lot of players waiting, and Hoodlum, he's already found himself 2. Making a third coming in from Karma. Somehow this force buy is working at the moment, but Stanley looks to try and change that fact. Bomb, however, is dropped. They don't have a lot of control of anywhere on the map at the moment. Rotation going to be coming in from Neil. He was trying to sneak in from behind previously. Just going to go and clear around towards B.
He's got to go all the way around. Like literally through spawn, back through. Oh, you haven't got time to even walk most of this. You just got to hope that Niels doesn't die as well. Kampanga's going to fall back. That's a free pickup, but that also gives away the information. They now need to go. You've got 35 seconds and 2 players to find. Cinder and Cray are all that stand between Method and the victory they desperately need here. Molly goes in, not quite deep enough to slow down Stanley. He's going to be lingering through 20 seconds now. Don't check Doc. That could have been a threat, but no. Niels is there. And down to 20 seconds. Molly goes in to stick on the bomb. Great work from Cinder. 15 now. He's holding so close. He could back away from this. He doesn't need to hold at this spot, but he gets the job done. Finds the angle. And Reason somehow is still breathing here.
It always seems to be those sketchy force buys that pay off towards the end of the game. It happened in the previous, and it's happened here. The difference is whether Method can do the exact same that was done to them in the previous map, where they just get absolutely ruined by this next buy, even though this one's a little bit better from Reason. Got a Mag 7, rifles on almost every single player. It's still going to be those AKs coming up, and a lot of what came down was Hoodlum having a massive round with the Deagle, and that's definitely not something you can rely on every single round.
No, absolutely not. Weber being forced to go a little close towards B than maybe he liked. Molly behind him, but still perfectly fine. Just can't back out of this yet. 3 players through middle. Working for the T side right now. Stanley still there, and he's been having a big game. Stanley's not a name that you often say with Method. He kind of sits below some of the heavy hitters, but he's had a very big performance this map. So credit to him. Now he needs to do it again. You want to close this now. Don't let Reason get that chance to come back in. Molly towards short allows the play up connector. Cheeky little face towards it too. Not the perfect smoke though, bear in mind. Still a little bit of a gap there. Don't want to be able to see through it right now. So they do build towards B.
Yeah, already though, Cinder is going to be the one to start things off. Jenko very quick to trade, and that's actually going to force them to go into this site. Thomas already getting himself another one. Again, it's just going to be traded out onto Karma, as we're just hoping that Thomas can survive on this site. He actually gets himself another, but it's still going to go back to this 2v2. Poles and Neil Zenio to try and hold off in this situation. Long rotation out from Cray. They do have a kit at the moment over on this CT side. Other player will be remaining in market, and there's very little in terms of utility. In fact, Pulse with 1 flashbang to try and slow down anything that the CT's had to offer. Hoodlum going to be throwing out, but actually wins the duel, and now it's all onto Pulse. 1 versus 2. Bomb beginning to tick quickly. No utility left other than 1 singular smoke. Peeks out, wins the duel. Now all onto Cray to try and save this for Reason. Otherwise, it is just going to be this 1-1 and peek out. Doesn't manage to do it. Just going to go straight for the defuse. Tries to throw the smoke, but Pulse will finish. Very, very close in the end. But it is going to be Method. 1-1. I think everybody was wrong. But in the end, doesn't even matter.
That was one of those games that just ended so sloppily for both sides. Now, Method did grind it out at the end, but you feel there was moments where that could have spiraled either way if their money just trickled away. So many close moments between the two. Good to see Jenko picking up the performance. A little quiet on that first map. They're obviously well and truly alive in the second. And of course, a couple of the other players as well having good performances
Stanley.
all around. Yeah, very much. Not exactly a name that you often hear being said with that side, of course. Normally other players do take the spotlight, I guess, but he really put up a good show for us there. So all in all, a bit of a 1-1 set coming through. But, you know, Method finally seemed to, turn up and do what they were meant to be doing. But I think it's time to head over to the desk and hear what they had to say about that beautiful game of CS.
Beautiful game.